now for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. The number to call if you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. We are live discussing, of course, Antonio Brown, who, as a former Steeler and former Raider, is currently now a Patriot. His move to the Patriots was, as some might consider, shenanigans, or as others might say, was it pretty shrewd? And, according to NBA.com, why I don't know, Jack Sikma, former big man for the Milwaukee Bucks, they say his footwork set the precedent for big men. But up first, psych. We're going to recap the NFL Week 1 debacle. Of course, that was the Cleveland Browns, and go back to this Antonio Brown thing. Joining me on the program today is none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. Brother Rich, what's happening, man?
My dear brother, my friend, it's always an honor, a pleasure, and certainly a privilege to be on this platform with you and all our other hosts and certainly all the listeners.
Indeed. And my man on the other side from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Tell the people what you say.
Welcome to the dog pound. Wow, wow, wow.
Really? That's how you going to come in on this one today? Man, you know what? I'm going to need you and Brother Rich to cut me in and cut it out. Oh, yeah, and by the way, that ride to the parade in the drop top, you might want to put the top up because this is Cleveland, and guess what? It looks
you
like
didn't hear no fear in our voice, man. You ain't hear no fear in our voice. Ain't nobody trembling. Come on, man. Keep going.
I didn't say
ain't
that.
Nobody trembling. Dog pound.
Dog
pound for life. Ain't nobody trembling, sir. No one is trembling over here, sir.
The
parade is still set. The parade route is still set. This was just to get all the first week, doubters off, shake y'all off real quick.
Okay. Well,
we didn't want the parade route crowded anyway.
Okay, can I finish? Can we get into the show? I mean, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? I know how you feel about your dog pound and whatnot. You know what I mean? I got something to say about the dog pound in particular, the fans and the shenanigans that go on down at that stadium, man. Unfortunately, right quick, I had to. I'm in a few groups on Facebook. Some I'm cool with. Some, I don't. I'm just not down with. And I don't know. Maybe it's my age or whatnot. But I removed myself from a Cleveland Browns group here simply because the conversation surrounding, I don't know who the player was. It was a Titans player who jumped in the dog pound. It was on a dog pound end after he intercepted Baker and returned it for a touchdown. And we all saw what happened. But he jumped into the stands, fans on that end of the stadium, and somebody poured a beer on him. Let me just say right quick, I find that classless, indignant, ignorant, deplorable, disgusting, and any other adjective you would like to use to describe the fact that some fan down there poured a beer on him. Now, look, I'm old enough to remember Red Right 88, like I done said 1,000 times, in the drive, the fumble, the shot, and all of that. I go way back with the Cleveland sports teams. But at the end of the day, man, if your fandom is devoid of class, then use a dumb ass, excuse my French fries, okay? That's not necessary. I don't know how you all, Double J, Brother Rich, we should have Gully joining us here shortly, would see or view that type of action. But to me, that falls in line and under the same umbrella as spitting on somebody. You don't like the guy returned the touchdown on your end and jumped in the stands? Okay, well, push him out. Smack him upside the helmet if you got to. And I ain't saying smack him hard, but, get out of here. We don't boo-boo or whatever. But to pour beer on somebody, man, that's disrespectful. And I'm telling you right now. And I ain't saying I'm hard or the toughest guy in the room. By no means. I abhor violence of any kind. But you crossing the line, okay? I'm glad it. Pour beer on me. Pour beer on me. I'm punching small, tall, big, short, fat. It don't make no damn. I'm punching you dead in your mouth. I'll take a ass whooping if that's the case. But you're going to know that you ain't going to pour beer on nobody else. That's just dumb as fuck to me. But anyway, Brother Rich, Double J, and y'all want to weigh in on that right quick before we get to this AB thing?
I'll let Double J. You want to go ahead, Double J? Because
I
think
well,
you spoke to me.
Go ahead, Double J.
Well, considering that, beers go for a premium these days inside of those venues, he should have put a little bit more thought into that. And however, I will not, praise decision making of that kind. But again, I think it really personified a forgetful week one, but there's still many good things to come.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, at the end of the day, and the same too goes for those Eagles fans who, from my understanding, came in the stadium with a coffin. And
that's where I was going to go with it.
Yeah, it has Sean
the
Taylor's.
problem with fandom in America. It's all these arenas. People are getting more and more carried away with their interaction with the players.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just Cleveland. I totally agree with you. That's why I said when you address that element, you certainly spoke for me. Nevertheless, there's a broader argument. This is going on all across professional sport. We just saw Golden State. That guy's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. You would think he knows how to conduct himself. He's at a sporting event. You're sitting on the floor, and you push the player.
Yeah.
You see it in football now. You see it in basketball. You see it in baseball. People trying to – so baseball, the dimensions of the field, but you see people jumping on, trying to run on in the field to play and interact.
Yeah.
You see it in soccer. You see the fans interacting with the players, cursing them out, making all kind of comments at the players. You see fans pouring beer at the players. You see LeBron and the players are now saying we're more than athletes. We want to be treated better than how you all are treating us. This is an issue throughout sports.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, we definitely about to hit the AB thing. I just wanted to point out that, I'm a sports fan too. Okay, and I actually think just having some class about yourself, and you can talk smack. You know what I mean? Wasn't no bigger small tacker. Wasn't no bigger smack talker on the court than me. I mean, anybody I played against, they tell you, man, this dude's constantly running his mouth. Heck, y'all could tell on the show, he constantly running his mouth. But at the end, man, it's just a line I'm not gonna cross, man. If you can't add some level of intelligence to your fandom and all of that that's classless to me, man. You know what I mean? And just a cat who looking in the mirror every day, man. I refuse to step out the house, man, and not exude and express and have some sort of class about myself, no matter what moves I'm making and where I'm at. Because I've been to Municipal Stadium when the dump they call it, and I seen that's ignorant to me. You get what I'm saying? That's just ignorant to me. But anyway, let's get to this AB stuff. All right, go ahead, Double J.
Let's not forget here that is what kicked off the quote unquote malice at the palace.
Of course, yeah, that was
a drink.
Yeah, exactly. And I was in agreement. To be honest with you, I just don't like the double standard that has been set forth, societally speaking, when it comes to sports. Players got all these rules and regulations and restrictions, but then the folks who watching them because you feel like because you paying, then you can no. I'm not. No. No. Hey, look.
Well, and this is why I totally agree with you that the conduct not only cannot be condoned, but also that there should be some strict reprimands in place for someone that does cross that line. Because to me, unfortunately, what this symbolizes is you were at the circus and everybody wants to taunt the lion, and then when the lion strikes,
thank you.
Now the lion has to get put down.
Thank you. Good analogy. Thank you. That's my point exactly. And then you got some fans, and I'm calling them dumb fans who have no wherewithal or can't even fathom what you just said. They like, huh? What are you talking about? I'll get out of here. If I pay my money, then I'm entitled to. Okay, well then guess what? I'll wrap it up with this right quick. As a window clerk a time or two at the post office, of course, it being a company, we are said to, as employees, the customer is always right. That's a given expression that's been repeated for eons, at least since as long as I've been born, right, when it comes to business. But as far as I'm concerned, when that customer comes up to the counter, the whole idea of customer service is not one-fold. It's twofold. It's two sides to every coin, right? You got a quarter in your pocket right now. You're going to see on one side something different than you see on the other side, but it's still that a quarter. Get what I'm saying? The lady, whoever, who comes up to the counter, I get it, you frustrated and the whole nine or whatever, but you're not going to be disrespectful to me because of what I'm wearing. You're going to respect me because of who I am, first and foremost. Now, I'm going to address your concerns and so, again, as best I can in a professional fashion, but there's an onus on you, too, on the other side of that counter is my point. And we going I don't know, I can't speak for nobody else, but if you're dealing with me, it's mutual. That's how it is. You're going to get whatever you give. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. But anyway, let's get to the AB stuff. Well, I'm not going to even go over the timeline. We all know what's going on. If you got a television or even a radio or even a cell phone, you already know what's been said and what's going on as far as Antonio Brown. Here recently, or just a minute ago, he signed with the Patriots. But the question is being asked, the way it all went down, is this sending a wrong message? And let me read to you right quick Tony Dungy, former Buccaneers and Colts head coach, his comments, and then I'll let you all weigh in on what he had to say. Where is it at here? Oh, Mr. Dungy. I coached 13 years, and every year my first message to the team was, we want to win the Super Bowl, yet we want to be talented. But we have to be role models. These kids look up to NFL players and coaches, and I really think this sent the wrong message. Brother Rich, what say you?
You know, you put me in a precarious position to disagree with somebody that I have tremendous respect for, so I won't disagree with him. He said the right thing. He said the truth. Here's the issue, though.
But hold on, Brother Rich. Hold that thought. Now, you know, just like I do, and please hold that thought, and I'm going to be brief. You know, just like I do, I, too, like Tony Dungy. But, like my mother told me, you're my son. But if you're doing wrong, then you got to answer to it. So, in other words, I'm not going to defend you or say that you were right when you was wrong because of I think you cool. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just putting this out here right now. You get what I'm saying? Or because we related or whatever it is. The truth is devoid of relationships, connections, and loyalty and all that other stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So speak it how you need to speak it. This is Brother Rich talking. Do your thing.
Well, certainly, I'm definitely, I hope to not shy away from that at all. But in answering, I want to give the context of my answer. My answer includes that the coach is correct in what he's saying for himself. And what I mean by that for himself, I mean this. Tony Dungy is the man who we are now famously associated with, John Gruden, for a whole host of different reasons. That he built a team from scratch, built it up to championship level, and then when they got ready, they fired him. He was as good and a professional as he is now, has always been that way, is noted to be a wonderful human being, loves the players, very highly respected, but he got fired, and John Gruden took his team and won a Super Bowl, and he had to swallow that. And he hasn't been dealing with coaching or football since. Nevertheless, he today, as it relates to Antonio Brown, I don't understand how that statement that he made has anything to do with what Antonio Brown did. Anything at all. Because if he's talking about the NFL, that statement applies to Roger Goodell, the ownership, this one, that. It's too many people in line before you get to Antonio Brown. Yeah,
no question. And again, go ahead, finish that thought. But actually, I just want to remind my panel here, when we responding to whatever it is, give the other person that's responding, if you have a rebuttal, give them a chance to finish their thought. And if we can, just be detailed in your responses, but let's, kind of be brief or whatever it is so that we can kind of keep things rolling along. But go ahead, Brother Rich, finish that thought. And then Double J, it's on you. Gully, you with us too? Hold up. You with us, Gully? Maybe not. Go ahead.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay,
yes,
good.
I am. I'm here with you.
Okay, go ahead, Brother Rich. Finish your thought. And then Double J, it's on you. And then Gully.
I'm saying, Jay, that the line is too long. If the coach is going to start there, the line is long. The line is too long. The line is long with ownership and management and this gate and that gate and players beating wives and drugs and murderers on teams. The line is too long with CTE and them hiding it. You're going to defend that? If you're going to start about how we are to behave, then you should close the NFL. The NFL has never behaved correctly. So why does the moral compass of America always want to start with when some black man decides, now, you know what, I don't think I want to do it that way. So then everybody looks at it and says, look at him. He doesn't want to do what we told him to do. And then we all jump on the bandwagon and say, why are you making it hard for us? You go make it hard. Now we got to pick 10 bales of cotton instead of 5 because this is biblical language. This is societal language. We do this on the job. We do this on the field. We do this in every segment of society. We do this. So now we got to do it to Antonio Brown. Let me ask you a question. I'm asking all the listeners and everybody on the program. What did Antonio Brown do that was wrong? What did he do? What did he do that Coach Dungy says he's a bad role model? What did he do?
Okay, well, let me say this. Dungy said players and coaches. And to your point, that also includes the Robert Irsays, or the Jim Irsay, excuse me, the Robert Krafts. That includes anybody.
He didn't answer that question. You can't use that. You can't.
No.
Because he didn't answer that question with respect to them. They didn't ask him about them. They asked him about Antonio Brown.
No,
and that's
listen.
what he said.
No,
that's what you asked us a question about Antonio Brown.
No, you're not. Listen, let me finish. What I'm saying is, you're talking about the NFL as a whole being vile and foul for having a moral compass when it comes to certain individuals and not so much others. I'm saying that what you're saying includes all. It's not just Antonio Brown. It includes everybody under the shield.
Fact.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to let me finish it now. I'm not against Antonio Brown, and I'm not saying that Tony Dungy is right or wrong. I'm just saying if he included players and coaches, then also included in that must be everybody in the NFL. Everybody that's under the shield is accountable for having a moral compass or having conduct not detrimental to. That's all I'm pointing out. So I'm in agreement with you. Double J, go ahead, have your say.
Well, I'm going to completely disagree with Tony Dungy, and only to your point is that it has to be the line that's drawn in the sand. Everyone should be behind that line. And with what he did, I think was perfectly executed. He got exactly what he wanted. You're forgetting here that the Steelers, I think, are responsible for $21 million or so.
Yeah, and the Patriots gave it right back to him.
And so, additionally, he's over 30 years old. He knows his window's closing, and he believes he's one of the best athletes in the world, and I don't disagree with him. The way he runs routes, we could go on and on about how great he is.
Right.
However, think of it this way. You have that one girlfriend that no matter what you do, you're just not good enough for. And that's really what this was a case of, was that the Raiders were going to do whatever they could initially to try to calm him down and do whatever they could to keep him there because they felt for some wild reason that they would be a contender with him. He understood that there's no way he's going to win a Super Bowl with that team, and by the time he would be out of that contract, he would be so beyond 30 that potentially his league image would prevent him from getting a shot with anyone, i.e. Chad Ochocinco or, Terrell Owens,
right,
Randy Moss. The list goes on and on. And so, how can you change that narrative? Get out of that contract. And so you take a by any means necessary approach here.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So I don't have a problem with it at all.
I think at the end of the day, and Brother Richard and I discussed this to a certain degree before we came on air, I think that at the end of the day, it was orchestrated. Now, the question, or to answer Brother Richard's question towards the end there, what did he do wrong? According to those who set forth and make the rules, is the way he went about doing it they didn't like. But at the end of the day, I look at it, and I hope this is a decent enough analogy. Whether you tell one lie or 100, people going to still see you as a liar. So it don't matter the amount, really, or the way you go about it. If they don't like you, they don't like you no matter what. You get what I'm saying? So the man got what he wanted.
Absolutely.
And that made the Patriots even more dangerous on paper and at the parquet. Gully, go ahead, weigh in.
Well, I think a lot of things in terms of
character assessment, attacking Antonio Brown's character for his antics or what have you. I think, and ended up with the Patriots. I think it just undermines the idea that the Patriots are an organization that always holds its players or its characters accountable to the highest standard. And they don't have time. They make time for you, but they don't make any time for your antics. And remember, that was the key when Randy Moss got there and when Chad Ochocinco got there. And you look at what happened with Josh Gordon. They do this all the time. They have a way of being able to put a character, quote unquote, on notice. Like, hey, we like your talents. We appreciate your talents, but you understand this is an opportunity that you're risking, and you're not going to hold us back because we won Super Bowls with or without people like, talents like yours. So I don't necessarily know that it's fair to say that Antonio Brown's antics were rewarded by getting with the Patriots. It was a case that the Patriots see your talent and they basically are going to call your bluff. Like, you want to keep acting like a clown, you're going to lose an opportunity that is very likely, if ever, to ever come back again, and that's to play with a perennial contender. That being said, when it comes to, let's say, I guess his character, I still don't think that. I think to you guys' point, I think it was kind of orchestrated, right? We gotta assume that he wanted to play for the Raiders. No, I don't know that he did. And people also say, you should honor your contract. The contract he signed wasn't with the Raiders, it was with the Steelers. And when that went south, we forget the merit to his claims about the discord of that team that came about in his exit from the Steelers. Yeah. So him not wanting to play for the Raiders, I think, is more than justifiable because that wasn't the team that he signed with. And I'll just leave it there.
Okay, good deal. I'll say this.
Respond to that, Jay?
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, I disagree as well.
Jay, I want to respond to that, just picking up 2 quick points. First point, the NFL does not have honorable contracts. Nobody honors contracts.
I was just getting ready to say that.
That's proven. That the owners can get. So that's point number one.
I was getting ready to say that.
Two, about the character and wanting to go to New England. Now, if I'm the character you're describing, and I'll take some of what Double J gave us earlier in his conversation, his argument, his defense, was that if Antonio Brown, he understands the football element of it more than I do, but he's saying from the football element, if Antonio Brown is who everybody says he is, this gifted wide receiver, and he understands his window is closing, if I'm Antonio Brown, I'll play it crazy smart. Why would I not want to go to New England for? The money is not as relevant to me as what Double J is saying. I won that championship. I don't. If we know that Belichick is like that, I don't even know football, and I know that team is like that. So if I know that, and he grew up knowing this sport all his life, if we all know that on this phone, and all our listeners know that, we sure that he knows that. So if he signed there and he's happy to go there and is running outside, and you see him celebrating and pictures of him smiling with Tom Brady, and not one crazy tweet in how many other days since the trade and the movement, not one word from him. Why? Because he's crazy like a fox, going exactly where he wants to go, guaranteed money, getting what he wants, and getting what Double J pointed us to, a player like him, what they want what? They want a championship, and why not go to New England with the best quarterback that's ever done it and get it there? The best coach, the best team right now going and get it there. You're not going to get it in Oakland. And Oakland is about to move and go to Vegas next year. That's going to be a wreck. He knows that organization is a wreck because it's a family-run wreck. Gruden and Mayock, and that's a family-run brotherhood nonsense. They got to go through a bunch of stuff before we know what they're going to become. Yeah. I would get out of there, too, based on what Double J's argument was.
Yeah, hold the line here. We got a caller. Let's see. Gully, you got that? Oh, yeah, it's being looked at now. Sorry, folks. To your point, though, Brother Rich, and why I say it was orchestrated, I don't know if you all remember the children's fable, Burr Rabbit or Burr Fox or whatever the case may be. When it's a psychological thing. He convinced the person, I'm going to throw you, if you don't do it, I'm going to throw you in that briar patch. He was like, oh, no, don't do that. But that's where he wanted to end up at in the first place. And then, two, we got Adrian calling on the line. Give me 1 second, Adrian. Let me finish this thought here. Give me 1 second here. And it's almost, and this might not be a great analogy either, but I'm going to throw it out here. It's almost to the tune where the guy who's married wants to hang out with the fellas, but he been hanging out with the fellas the last 3-4 days. So what he do? He know the wife ain't gonna go for it, not on the 5th day. So he like, man, what can I do? So he start an argument on purpose. And she's like, he's like, and that's it. I'm going to hang out with the fellas. Well, that's what he wanted in the first place. So kudos to Antonio Brown for what I say. And I'm only a person with one opinion here. I think that the move was orchestrated to the Patriots. Somebody asked the question, "Oh, do you think if it was going to be another team that it would have been orchestrated?" That's what ifs. That's like saying if the lady across the street had a mustache, she'd be somebody's uncle. All I know is the dude is with the Patriots. So I just follow the timeline from where he started out into the Patriots and to the contract situation. Give me a second here. Honor that contract is such a one-sided expression when it comes to sports, especially the NFL, because those who are sliding the contract to the player, they don't honor it either. They don't honor the contracts. The folks who put the contract together, they don't honor the contract not one bit. We're going to take this call from Adrian. Adrian, are you from Atlanta? Hello?
I'm actually from Michigan.
Oh, okay, Michigan. We got Adrian from Michigan calling. Go ahead, man. Have your say. We're talking about this Antonio Brown thing. What say you?
I mean, the Antonio Brown thing crazy. I think, at the end of the day, he just wants to be treated right. He wants to be in the system that fit him. He didn't want to have to go into the foolery of what's going on with that team. And so he did what was best for him.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it looked like. It's going to be a lot of folk, though, that's going to
happen. And that's what most people are doing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's going to be a lot of folk to take issue because, they feel, again, the high and mighty, those with a moral compass who ain't never did no wrong, ain't made no mistakes or no nothing in their life. Like, oh, my gosh, look at him. He's a this and he's a that. Yeah, I mean, I get all of that. But at the end of the day, keep your comments to yourself, really, if you're that kind of person who I'm just not down with pointing out somebody else's stuff that stink when you got a diaper on that, you can see the smoke coming up out from the back of it. But yeah, man, Antonio Brown is where Antonio Brown wanted to be. Anything else you want to throw in there?
I mean, outside of him, using the words that he used, I think, he could have handled that part a little bit better. To have the platform he has, to know the magnitude of the player that he is like, handle your stuff with your agent, handle your stuff, how the way you're supposed to. But don't tarnish yourself, in the process. Don't make yourself look like you don't know how to be professional. Like in every setting, it's a way that you handle, disagreements or things that you don't like. So I just think, just the comment that he said, that could have been dealt with a different way.
Got you, man. Thanks.
I'm going to disagree with you, and here's why.
Okay.
His agent is Drew Rosenhaus. Drew Rosenhaus, the same person that instructed Terrell Owens to do sit-ups in his driveway. Additionally, Drew Rosenhaus is very good at contract negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look at it, they, I'm sure, went through that contract with a fine-tooth comb. And he said, well, how's the way that I can keep my money and get more money on top of it while playing where I want to be, where I can get a ring?
And I want to thank Adrian for the call right quick. Thanks, man. Thanks for calling in. Hope you call in again soon. Have a good one. Go ahead, Double J. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, and ultimately here, that was the only way. I think it was beautifully orchestrated. Hey, here's what can be done. You got to get out of the contract. They have to outright release you. Let's face it. Antonio Brown could have got traded there, and he could have said, I don't want to play for you. Will you release me? The Raiders would have said, absolutely not. Look what we just gave up to get you here. Now, he could have went by way of Eli Manning.
Hold that thought.
Countless others.
Hold that thought, Double J. We got another caller here. This is Tonio. I think it's Tonio. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike Miller. Mike, what's going on, man? Where you calling us from?
What's up, man? I'm from Michigan.
Okay, got another Michigan person on the line. What's up, man? We weighing in on this Antonio Brown thing. What say you?
I feel like it was a part of a bigger plan. You know what I'm saying? For the simple fact, when he was still with the Steelers, he wanted to get traded over there, and they wouldn't do it.
Oh.
So he left. He got released, went to the Raiders, slightly acted a fool, got released. Now he's where he wanted to be.
Oh,
you know,
I didn't.
Same thing they do in the NBA sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't know that, man. I didn't know while he was with the Steelers that he wanted to go with the Patriots. I did not know that. That's good. I'm glad you threw that in there. See what I'm saying, man? You know, and see that's.
Hey, allow me to interject. I wonder if it was because of maybe the influence. What's the name of their linebacker, Harrison, that at one time went to the Patriots, and I think he did return to end his career with the Steelers, but he also went to the Patriots as well. I wonder if he got good news over there, and maybe that might have influenced his ear.
It's possible. It's possible. Anything else you want to throw in there, Mike?
How about those Lions?
Oh, man, you was wrong for that, man. We appreciate the call, man. We appreciate the call.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
Yeah. Double J, man, what you say? Oh, the Lions. Anyway, yeah, the last word on the Antonio Brown thing. I mean, it is what it is, man. The dude is a Patriot, and right now, I say, what we got to do is, if you playing them, you better make sure that you dotting your T's and crossing your I's, and make sure you ate your oatmeal that day, because they coming. The number to call is area code 267-687-0026. That number again, area code 267-687-0026. We appreciate the callers and called in, weighing in on the Antonio Brown situation. We now turn our attention to NBA.com. NBA.com. And I don't even know where I saw this. I happened to be online the other day, and I might have actually been on the site. I don't even know what I was looking for. Or it might have even been in a Facebook thread. I don't know. Again, you all know by now that senility is real, and it does kick in every now and again, so bear with me. I'm going to need some of y'all to start making doing some Post-it notes or something for me. How about that? Brother Rich, maybe? No? Double J? Gully?
I'm honored.
Oh, stop it. Yeah, but according to NBA.com, man, they say former Milwaukee Buck big man Jack Sikma, and I put in quotes, his post-footwork set a precedent for future big man generations. Double J, what's up with that? Do you agree with that first? Is that fair or foul?
Well, I'm going to go foul here. I kind of think it's, no disrespect to a Hall of Fame athlete, but the way these centers move these days.
Hold up.
I'm not seeing.
Hold up. Hall of Fame? Please tell me that's something else I didn't know, like George Mikan's jersey not being retired by the Lakers. Sikma's in the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. We're going to get to this in a minute. Keep going.
Oh, brother
yeah,
Rich.
absolutely.
Oh,
yes,
brother
he's
Rich.
a Hall of Famer.
Oh, brother Rich, Double J and D Gully.
Absolutely.
Man, you know what? Here's what I hope. I hope when y'all riding in that car to the Browns parade, because I told you I'm gonna be at home. The best seat in the house is at the house, because I just got a pair of bunny slippers and I can't wait to break these suckers open. But I hope when y'all ride, man, I hope it like Cleveland weather show its behind on y'all. I hope it rains. Anyway, go ahead and finish, Double J. Yeah, you lost your train of thought. Good.
Here, No, I just don't believe that he had that big of an influence on today's players. That's just it. The game has changed too much that the way that he moved, I don't see anything that directly correlates to what is happening today.
Well, you said the way that he moves. You trying to say he a dinosaur or something? Stop it. That's foul. Man, wait till I get the foul button on here. I don't think the way. Yeah, but I don't think that his footwork was all so impeccable that it set the tone for guys like Shaq and Hakeem and all of them. Because that seemed like NBA.com. That's what they was driving at. Seemed like it to me. Gully, what say you?
Well, they may say it's the footwork, but I think it's about him. I think it's about his shooting ability, and I guess maybe the indirect correlation is that his remarkable shooting ability, for him being a center, playing the position of center in the 70s and 80s, the way the center position was played at the time, is sort of why maybe they're praising him for his footwork. I mean, he had remarkable numbers as a shooting center. I'm willing to bet if I look at other, looking more in depth at maybe the guys that we know of, the Akeem Olajuwons and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars or the centers of the 80s, his numbers are probably in comparison. But the fact of the matter is, I think they're looking at his footwork because he was a shooting center in a time when centers didn't shoot that well, especially from deep.
Brother Rich, before you weigh in, let me fish back, because I don't do piggyback, off what Gully just said. Now, I watched Sikma play. Now, don't get it twisted. Unlike these so-called centers of today, at least 2/3 of them in the today BA, if the ball found him at the top, not the top of the key, like the foul line area, you know how they do the post, the pick, the screen and roll or whatever, screen and pop or whatever it is, and he was that guy to pop, and the ball found him at that free throw line, he didn't spend the rest of the entire shot clock trying to hand it back to James Harden or Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving. He said, "Oh, okay. No, okay." Then he'll turn around and knock it down in your face. Now, I'll give him that. But again, the thing was about footwork. My goodness. Hakeem Olajuwon plays soccer. Come on now. The man, Hakeem's footwork was impeccable. And to his credit, like I mentioned, Shaquille O'Neal, and I forgot Kareem, my bad, K. From watching tapes that Dale Brown at LSU sent him when he was an Army brat, so to speak, because go back and check Shaq's history, he was about as uncoordinated as they come from head to toe. He watched them tapes Dale Brown gave him, and then thus we all know Shaq to be the player they was. In other words, Dale Brown had a lot to do with Shaq and his footwork. But anyway, yeah, I'm giving Sikma credit for being able to turn around and knock that jumper down, unlike the DeAndre Jordans, you know what I'm saying, who, if they're not getting a dunk, they basically a liability. But the footwork, setting a precedent, I don't know. Brother Rich, how you say?
Well, my say is that if Jack Sikma is not in the Hall of Fame, they should close it, number one. And that absolutely.
You didn't say all of that when Mike and wasn't. We talked about Mike and not Jersey being retired.
You surely did not hear me say that. I sure did not say that.
That's
but
wrong.
I'm saying it right now.
That's wrong.
That young man was a fantastic basketball player, and you said it absolutely correct. That if he got the ball at the top of the key, that was a big man that had the natural basketball ability that he could turn into a wingman. He was a pioneer in the sense of a center, just like D. Gully explained it. He could come out and shoot, take that pick and pop. He could make that transition from a center almost to a guard-like player, and he could create his own shot. You cannot argue that he certainly, in his day, set a precedent, because he was in a time of big men who were almost like tree stumps down there. The Al Addles and those kind of dudes.
Yeah, the Moses Malones.
No, this man could shoot. Yeah, the Moses Malone.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to compare Olajuwon, because Olajuwon took that whole Jack Sikma thing to another level.
But again, we're talking about footwork. Was Jack Sikma's footwork?
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying. But that's what I'm asking you. If you go back and look at Jack Sikma's footwork to create those shots that D. Gully is telling us he was able to get for himself, then you even point out he could go to the top and create for himself. His ability to do that, and his ability to go down low and move with that ball and then step out and do something, was related to his footwork. Go back and look at his video.
Okay, that's fine.
I remember watching him.
All I'm hearing is athletic big man.
Oh, wait.
Fantastic. That's what you're hearing.
Okay.
That's absolutely what you're hearing.
Okay, hold on.
Absolutely.
Hold on. One at a time now. I'm not knocking Sikma. I like Sikma as a player for sure. But being specific, if the NBA is saying that Jack Sikma's footwork set the precedent for guys like Hakeem and all of them, then if that's the case, I'm going to Kareem. Yeah, that's what I thought. Shut the front door and the back door.
I don't agree with you.
What happened? You don't agree with me? Well, that's not. Let me
say it in English or Vietnamese. I don't agree with you.
Either way. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. You and Double J riding in the drop top in the rain to the Browns parade, Super Bowl parade. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Y'all going to leave me out here on the island all by myself. Guess what? As long as I got the radio, it's on, baby. Yeah, I ain't taking nothing from Sikma.
Well, we know where to.
Go ahead, Double J. Go ahead and say something smart.
I was just going to say, we know where we can find you at Jerry's World.
Oh. Woo. And the countdown is 2 minutes and 28 seconds. I was waiting for that. You actually a little late on that, Double J.
Hey. They got some pictures up on the internet at your house. I don't know who bugged your house. They say you got a bunch of Jerry's World and Cowboys,
stop it.
Not
gonna happen.
You didn't see that picture that went viral of him wearing the cutoff Zeke jersey?
First of all, let me make a few corrections here. I am first and foremost a Browns fan. Secondly, I am a football fan. Or you can put that first. Either way it go, I am just standing behind the fact that on this program, when we were doing our coverage of the divisions in the NFL, somebody on this program said, don't take the Cowboys lightly when we was having that conversation about should Zeke get paid and all that kind of stuff. Now, all of a sudden, the folks who had something contrary to say, now all of a sudden I'm a Cowboys fan in Jerry's World. You know what? Whatever the case may be, so be it. Dak and Zeke and the boys looked good the other night. And I don't want to hear this stuff about the Giants is trash and all that kind of stuff or whatever it is, because I don't think the Giants are no Super Bowl contender this year. I don't think they trash either. But give credit to the Dallas Cowboys, Stephen A's, and I say that plurally. The Cowboys took care of business. Gully, what say you about all of this? You got something smart to say, too?
No, man. No, I'm gonna stay out of this.
Okay, good.
Neither of these are my teams.
Yeah.
Well, I do like the Giants, but I'm gonna stay out of the
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay out of the line of fire for this one.
Yeah, good. And I like the fact how Double J and Brother Rich, you see how they slid that Cowboy stuff in there when we was talking about Jack Sikma? You see how smooth they was with it? I caught y'all. I'm hip to to how y'all roll. That's why I hope the top is down and y'all be rolling in the rain. And I hope y'all hit a chuck hole too, or orange barrel. No, not really. I'm just saying. But anyway, back to the Jack Sikma thing. Yeah, man, I'm a Jack Sikma fan all day, every day. But I don't think his footwork set a precedent. His footwork was nice, but setting a precedent? Man, stop it. It ain't setting no precedent for nothing. But I'm a Jack Sikma fan, though. Go ahead, Jack. And I didn't know he was in the Hall of Fame. But I'm surprised that Brother Rich.
Tell you what, though. I tell you what you didn't know, though.
This is Gully. Go ahead. Tell me.
I bet you didn't know that he was the league leader in free throw percentage in 87, 88. Even beating out Mark Price.
What?
He had a 92 point, 90. He was above 90% from the free throw line, and that led the league.
Thank you for bringing the receipts, beloved. Thank you for bringing those receipts.
But hold on, Brother Rich. You making it seem like I'm against Jack Sikma. See how you and Double J do? Y'all try to turn this, y'all ganging up on me, man. But it's cool, though. I just got done doing push-ups, and I ate some Wheaties. Bring it. Anyway. I'm not surprised by the free throw percentage because, again, I'm an old school hoop fan, ologist, whatever you want to call it. And for the most part, that used to be a standard back in the league back then. Every player had to be able to do everything better than average. Okay? It wasn't no such thing as a specialist back then. So I'm not surprised at his free throw percentage, even though his position was contrary to Mark Price's, but I'm not surprised. And that just really goes to point out just how much more skillful players were back then. The fact that you mentioned Jack Sikma and then Mark Price, who was a point guard, Jack Sikma was a center. You know what I'm trying to tell you? But they both had the free throw percentages. But I'm not going to even go into how cats nowadays be working on a game, but they be working on a field goal percentage increasing every year, but they don't be working on a free throw percentage. But anyway, yeah. So here's
my point with this.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go again with the top-down, drop-top guy. Go ahead, Double J.
This is a guy who went up against the Kevin McHales, the Robert Parishes, the Moses Malones, and more importantly, he specifically has said, and I quote, Kareem made me a better player.
Say that again.
Why are we crowning this man when he's crowning someone else?
Say that again. Kareem made me a what?
Kareem.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, a better player.
Okay, but here's the deal. I'm not necessarily crowning Sikma. Again, I'm talking about how the NBA saying that his footwork set a precedent. That's just mind-boggling to me. And this is no disrespect to him and not saying or implying that he did not have good footwork. or that he was not fundamentally sound in his footwork, because he was, Jack Sikma, that is. But his footwork did not set a precedent. Not Sikma's. Kareem's maybe, but not Sikma's. And then maybe it's a lost art.
Despite maybe initially disagreeing with you, Jay, I think maybe that's my argument. Maybe it's something else. Maybe his shooting ability is really the fact that beyond the center's domain, you know what I'm saying, beyond 8 to 12 feet, he was a threat as a big man in an era where big still played big. I would say if you wanted to compare how Sikma was a precursor for what we see in the modern day NBA, we look at Sikma being around before. It sounds to me like Sikma was more where Dirk Nowitzki is kind of considered the first of his kind in terms of his being able to be a big and can shoot.
Okay, that's fair.
It's actually Sikma. So we had seen it years before. So I'd agree. Maybe not so much his footwork, but maybe his shooting ability.
That's fine.
Would be something that we see now.
Yeah, but I'm just going off what NBA.com said.
But but NBA.com has an argument that they're making, and what I'm asking us to consider, take a moment and go back and look at stock footage of Jack Sikma, and what you will notice is that just like you said, D. Gully, look at Dirk Nowitzki. He has good footwork. He grew up in Germany playing soccer. He has very good footwork for a big man. Remember now, we're not just talking about a player. We're talking about, and remember, this article, contextualize the article. The article is talking about him playing. You can't compare that man to Kareem. Everybody looks up to Kareem. We're not talking about Kareem. Kareem is one of the all-time greats. We're just talking about whether this guy belongs as one of the guys you looked at and be like, oh, wow, that guy is good. For his contemporaries, he absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. So you telling me he looked up to Kareem, he didn't learn nothing? Yeah, he learned something. You could see it in his game that he moves in a way that for a big man, he had a very fluid stroke. He could put the ball on the floor. He could create a shot from outside. And he was very slim as well. So he was just as you described in Double J, he was an athletic big man in an era when, Jay, you talk about barbershop, you talk about this all the time. How back in our day, the big man was like Patrick Ewing. And before that, you had Al Attles, and you had people who were they just was down there. Give me the ball, and let me turn around and move people out the way. That was the big man's job.
Brad Daugherty even
couldn't get the ball and move it. Brad Daugherty
even, yeah. But I don't. Everything you're saying, Brother Rich, is true. It's not for me. It's not a question about was he better than Kareem or was not. That's not a question. All of that stuff is true. Dirk Nowitzki, and I'm saying you could see even in Dirk some of maybe Sikma's footwork presence, and I'm not disagreeing with none of that. The only thing I'm saying is I'm sticking to the word or term precedent. Sikma's footwork was fantastic, fantabulous, however you want to describe it. I'm not disagreeing with none of that. But if his footwork is said to have set a precedent for big men, then I'm saying we got to go to Kareem's footwork before we go to Sikma's footwork, even though Sikma's footwork was fundamentally sound. Feel what I'm saying? But again,
let me ask you a question. Barbershop. Tell me what elements of Jordan's game set a precedent for what we see before, for what we've seen since.
That's a loaded.
What elements of Jordan's game?
I heard you the first time.
No,
I got you.
It's not a loaded question.
It is a loaded question, and we don't have that kind of time.
Name one. I mean, you name one. Name one.
We don't have that kind of time. I'm not going. Listen here.
We do.
Listen. No, we don't actually.
We do.
No, we don't actually. I'm sitting here looking at it.
You can name one element of Jordan's game.
I could, but I'm not going to. You know why? You know why I'm not going to name?
See.
You know, no, I'm going to because I see
you
right.
You know what you're doing.
I see right now.
You're ahead on points and you don't want to engage because
okay.
You know you're in a firefight. You're doing a Mayweather right now in this rounds 10, 11, and 12.
Stop
it. You're doing a De La Hoya right now, and you versus Trinidad. I'm Trinidad right now. You're doing De La Hoya. You're ahead on points, but you're playing scared because I'm gonna come after you.
Hold on. Did you just put me and De La Hoya in the same sentence? Oh, I'm putting you Brother Richard, and Double J in the same car with the top down, and it's going to be raining. Man, stop it. Look, I could give you one Jordan example or whatever you just mentioned out there really went in one ear and out the other after you mentioned me and De La Hoya in the same sentence. But I won't, because we need to move on and discuss. Yeah, because I got the mute button over here,
ding,
baby.
Ding, ding. I guess the round's over, right?
Yeah,
okay.
The round is over. It is. To you, to Double J and Brother Richard, I hope y'all have fun dodging these chuck holes and orange barrels. The number to call if you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. We are live here on the Spreaker.com network, and you're listening to the Shop Report with, of course, Barbershop J, Brother Rich, Double J, and D Gully, all riding in the drop top with 4 different color hubcaps. Okay. We all watched this past week or this first week's slate of NFL games, right? And I'm sure that we all here got a lot to say about the debacle or the abysmal showing put on by the Cleveland Browns. I'm not going to lie. We've said it on this show. I was expecting a win. I was expecting a decisive win. But we're not going to start with the Browns right now, okay? What we're going to start with, and then we'll go to the Browns, because I know everybody on this panel today is chomping at the bit. That Thursday night game between the Bears and the Packers. What I took away from that game, as was the case with the Sunday games, a lot of them, preseason is definitely needed. Now, how many preseason games, I don't know. But I'm sure they're going to revisit that, definitely in the next CBA maybe or whatnot that's coming up. But you need preseason games. And not only that, but coaches got to figure out a way to, and I know the whole idea about risking injury and so on and so forth and meaningless games or whatever the case may be, but you got to maybe play your starters going into, in that fourth game, maybe a little bit longer than you would, if at all, in the second and third game, so to speak. Or if you cut it down to 3 games, maybe in the third game and the first game or something. I don't know what the solution is, but I just know we saw a lot of rusty football this past week. And I'm not excusing the Browns because that was beyond rusty. But we saw a lot of rusty football this past week. At least I think so. Brother Rich, what about you? Did you agree? Is that rusty football that you saw, or is it just par for the course? What is it?
Oh, without a doubt, absolutely. I had a good friend of mine told me, don't count nothing that happens in the first week. Nothing. Just wipe out everything that happens in the first week. And this is
unless
why,
the team wins.
I had the conversation well, unless your team wins, certainly. But from the football perspective, I agree with you. You gotta kind of wipe that off the slate.
Okay, Double J, what say you? Watch he come with something crazy.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be the first to overreact, on a Tuesday here at following week 1.
Oh boy!
But again,
you sound
here's
so
the
sincere.
reality. You're kind of darn if you do, you're darn if you don't. You're either going to play some rusty football by resting your players during the preseason, because ultimately nobody is willing to accept an ACL injury in those games that don't count. And so that's why the league has been having these conversations. And this is also why the product on the field, I don't think it's going to improve much for the Miami Dolphins, but for everybody else, it should pick up quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Gully, what about you?
Well, you talked about, Brother Rich, you talked about wiping the slate clean. Some teams got a whole lot of wiping to do.
Yeah, that's why some teams, instead of using a dry erase, they need toilet paper. But go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, depending on how you show, right? I mean, one win doesn't make you a Super Bowl contender. Nobody should take a blowout and think. For example, I think it'd be unrealistic, as well as the Ravens perform, to think that one win means that they're going to be in the AFC Championship. Okay, However, what we did see, I look at those middling games, those games that were fought, those Bears, Packers games, those games that actually end up being a contest, to see what made those games a contest. Did we see teams actually has the game went on? Did we see teams stand up to each other and hit back? Or did we see sloppiness for 48 minutes and then somebody got lucky? That's what we want to see. So let's look at those close games. Let's look at the Saints game last night to see okay, how well did they look compared to what we think they were going to be during the rest of the season? Or did it look like they just took one on the chin and mailed it in and prepared for week 2? That's what I like to look for. But don't take a win or a loss to mean that the whole season is over.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Browns and you got your mouth tore out when you expected to win that game. Sorry.
Yeah. Even though we haven't gotten to the Saints, Texans, I watched that game. In my opinion, that was the best game in terms of how it was played from start to finish. I mean, even though there was a couple hiccups here and there, but overall, it was the best game. That was the better played game of this first week, I think. But anyway, let's talk about the Browns, because I know everybody here is chomping at the bit to talk about the Browns and their abysmal showing. Let me just say right quick, that was unacceptable. I don't know why. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I had to laugh at you.
Yeah, I don't know why this is the case, but I guess it's the reason why they call human nature human nature. Again, I wasn't in the locker room and so on and so forth, but I mentioned a bit ago about what my expectations were as a longtime Browns fan. At the end of the day, man, I'm tell you what it looked like to me. 180 some odd penalty yards. Everybody wants to blame the coaching. I get it. But I'm saying everybody in that building after that game needs to take a look at self. Period. End of story. It's no way in the world, regardless of the level that you played on, if you're a competitor, your first order of business is to let, and Eddie Robinson said it during the little introductions on this ESPN 150 college football, charting the story of the history of college football in the This Is Us. I think that's the segment, the documentary segment. To a man, if you're a competitor, you got to let the guy in front of you know, win or lose, it ain't going to be easy for you today, son. I got mad respect for you and what you bring to the table, because you here at this level just like I'm here at this level. But guess what? You ain't going to want to see me again. If you win, you ain't going to want to see me again. And if I win, you ain't going to have no choice but to dap me up, baby. The Browns went into that game after that first drive, and it didn't do nothing but, for a moment, validate all of the hype. And then you got Delaney Walker, who said it before the game and then going to say it again lightweight after the game. Ooh, as a competitor, that burns me up. Yeah, they were who we thought they were, and we... Come on, Cleveland. Y'all can't do this, man. Y'all can't do this, man. After about the third quarter, and I watched it, I started looking for Ashton Kutcher, even though that show is no longer being aired, but I swore up and down. They got punked, Brother Rich. What say you?
Well, we had this conversation on Sunday via text. I'll reiterate what I said then at this time. I know this may sound crazy to everyone. I believe it was a good, deserved butt whooping that the Browns got. I think they needed that. I think they needed to wake up. It's one thing to think that they just believe the hype. They believe too much hype. They're a good team. They have tremendous potential. But everybody jumped on the bandwagon. People like yourself all made it all heavy.
Oh,
and then,
stop
you
it!
Needed to shake some of the dust.
Okay, so hold on.
It's the truth.
Hold on, no. Hold on.
Yes,
so now I'm just a bandwagoner. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No, that's what it sounds like.
All the pundits across our nation, who then look at our squad now and is ready to just abandon and talk about it's terrible. And
I didn't say don't do that. Don't do that.
First game. Look, you could tell them boys didn't have their mind in the right place when a player's on the field with a $300,000 watch. What do you not care about? The game, the watch, yourself? What you got endorsement on your mind? Look at Baker talking about, I'm getting up, I feel dangerous today. You're not taking the other team seriously at all?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay, but
then the players, they deserve everything they got when the team clowned them and said they are who we thought they were. I thought that was wonderful. And now we don't know what the Browns are on Sunday. We don't know what we have
Monday.
Yet. We have a lot of potential.
They play the Jets next Monday night.
Monday.
Yeah,
we'll know.
Yeah,
we'll know. We'll know on Monday what we have. That's when we'll know.
But
we don't know nothing right now.
But here's the thing. I agree with everything you said, but you're going to label me as the bandwagoner. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff you and Double J be doing.
You're a pundit when you're Cowboy fans. I know you might, excuse me. Double J, pardon me. I shouldn't have let that out. I shouldn't have told the world.
Yeah. Oh, it's already out, even though it's wrong. Anyway, we hear what Brother Richard got to say. Gully, what say you? We'll get to Double J in a minute, because I know he over there jotting stuff down. Gully,
yeah.
I
don't know that I don't know there's much else to say. I think Brother Rich, you got it right. What had to happen is that I think there was a lot of promise in the team in terms of the roster, in terms of the talent, and I think they just kind of
you said
it's the equivalent, to use an analogy, it's the equivalent of knowing you don't perform so well at the end of the school year, you're going on this trip. So then what happens? You stop studying, and then all of a sudden your grades don't look like they were when you were rewarded your trip. Basically, the talent and the roster or whatever is put together in such a way where, hey, there are a lot of things we're supposed to have, and a lot of things we're supposed to be done well, and they just forgot to study and focus. This humbles them. They were who we thought they were, as Mr. Walker said, but unlike Dennis Green, they didn't let them off the hook.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm gonna let you say, Double J. For first of all, Gully, you said that in the kind of tone that made me think like Ronald Reagan in that movie, "Win one for the Gipper." But anyway, as a competitor, I never played on that level, but I never underestimated anybody I played against, even if I felt like in my heart of hearts I could beat them. Until afterwards. Man, you don't get smart with the alligator until after you cross the river. Stupid. Go ahead, Double J. And please, no soliloquies.
Well,
okay, no soliloquies or no scrolls. Just speak your piece.
Look, to further Brother Rich's point here, this is something that had
Oh,
to
I'm
happen.
not surprised by that.
And this is look. You look at the penalties. It shows signs of immaturity. You show You saw a lack of execution, especially defensively, and actually on both sides of the ball. Well, all that really meant to me was that you got a bunch of incredibly talented young kids that heard every bit of what we said. They drowned out what you heard, and that they're hoping here that this little turbulence was able to get those just hanging on to set sail and jump and let that parachute go, so that the rest of us here can sit a little bit more comfortably on that parade.
Okay, and I'll add to that. Not add to that. I'll say this. At the end of the day, that's all fine and dandy. And I am a Browns fan, but I'm a realist too. We had discussion on previous shows when we talked football about teams who all are in agreement when it comes to the NFL being a what? A quarterback-driven league. And the team, in particular, the Cleveland Browns, who have been since 99 searching for a franchise-type quarterback, and I still agree that they have one. But that offensive line is terrible. And I still believe in John Dorsey and the whole nine and all of that. Now, I don't know if they're not being coached up correctly, but you don't have, finally, a franchise quarterback in a quarterback-driven league, and you don't put an iron fence in front of him, and that not being your first order of business. Okay? No disrespect to John Dorsey. Again, you made all these additions, and I'm cool with everything. But we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, for instance. And what do we say about the Dallas Cowboys? When we were talking about running backs and getting paid and stuff, the one thing that kept coming out was that offensive line. You got to have one in the NFL if you got a franchise quarterback. You got to put up an iron fence. And Harrison, you kicking somebody in the face? Really? Come on, man. Come on now. Really? Kick the guy in the face?
I will offer, though.
Yeah, offer.
That
offer up.
Excited has excited. Yeah, if excitement or if overexcitement got the best of them, I will say that the one ominous sign or the one area of concern that I have is the fact that last year, one of the things that made last year a possible playoff season for them and a winning season at that is what we saw from the team was composure. One of the things that we didn't really see yesterday was composure. The one difference between
that's on coaching and the players, though.
The one difference that we saw is the testament or the embodiment, if you will, the personification of that composure for the team was the head coach that we had last year that is not here. That's the one area of concern that I have.
So what you saying? They should have kept Hugh Jackson?
I'm not talking about Hugh Jackson. I'm talking about the last 8 games. Not that guy. You would think he was on the sidelines yesterday.
You talking about Greg Williams? Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah, you talking about Greg Williams? Well, I mean, I guess hindsight is 30-30, 40-80-90. I'm a Brother Rich can tell you this. I'm a big Greg Williams fan, big Greg, especially as a defensive coordinator. But I mean,
right.
Again, the Browns saw fit to go another direction. You know what I mean? I don't know. At the end of the day, and I'm not excusing. It's to me that's just it, man. If you play competitively on any level, from Pee Wee all the way to the Super Bowl and I'm keep saying it. If you play competitively, man, it's on you. It's on you, man. It's on you as the player. I'm not knocking coaching and all. Like coaching, it's the reason why it's coaches and it's the reason why it's players and so on and so forth. But it's just on me, man. It's just on me. Coaches coach and players execute. You know what I mean? And we've seen evidences in certain cases when, bad play calling. Okay, we blame that. And we've seen bad mismanagement of time. Okay, blame that. But some of the careless mistakes or careless miscues or whatever you want to call it that the Browns had yesterday, man, I'm looking at the players, man, like, man, come on, man. Now, I ain't saying somebody hit you in the face, you turn the other cheek and all that old kind of stuff or whatnot, but it's a way to get a dude back. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Without losing sight of the bigger picture. But again, it's only 1 week. I get it. It's 15 more. But I'm more than anything that I take away from the Browns yesterday and what happened in the debacle and all of that, they got to fix that offensive line quick. Real quick. Because I don't know if you all noticed this, because, the scoreboard, was kind of distracting. But Baker was running for his life on every play.
That is true.
Now, who saw that? And this was
I saw that.
Yeah, and this was on the opening drive. You see what I'm trying to tell you? So, come on, man, it's a big issue. All right, let's get to some of this other action. Now, we done talking about the Browns for now? Did everybody get that out right quick? Good. All right.
Well, along with all the Cowboy fans are finished. You finished?
I don't know no Cowboys fans. Not here. Not in this room. Ha, 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 Helen. Anywho, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Oh, y'all real foxy today, right? Okay, I got something for all of y'all. I got some new equipment coming that's gonna take care of all of that flyness. Double J, what'd you take away from?
We got to remind ourselves here that he's Luther Campbell, and the rest of us are just Mr. Mix, Fresh Ice Kid, and Brother Marquis.
Gully, don't you dare laugh at that. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't laugh.
Oh, Double J, yeah. Yeah, Double J is on his way to getting his letter of removal. It'll be coming in the mail real soon here. Double J, what'd you take away from the Rams and the Panthers, if anything?
Well, that Cam Newton put a little bit too much of emphasis in the pregame routine with his teammates, and a little less
in his performance on the field.
Execution.
Yeah, that pregame ritual is nasty, downright nasty. I'm gonna say it again. That's just nasty. Yeah. What about you, Gully? What'd you take away from the Rams and Panthers?
I took nothing away because, unfortunately, I did not catch that game, sir. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Brother Rich, what about you? It was a ho-hum kind of moment?
Well, I happened to be unfortunately, I happened to be with some Panthers fans in Carolina watching the game at a friend's location, and they were all up in arms about it. And as I told them beginning the game, Cam Newton, and if you go back and check the tape on our show, Cam Newton has no team. He has no support. He has no protection. He's going to stay. You talk about Baker on the run for his life. Cam been running for his life for his whole career.
Yeah. That we say all the way since Auburn, huh? Basically. Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. I mean, I watched it, portions and pieces. You know, I'm in line with what you all said earlier when we was talking about the Browns and so on and so forth about that one game. It was one game, and I'm really disinterested. I don't see the Rams, going back to the Super Bowl this year. I'm not saying they one-hit wonders, but I just don't see much from, now I ain't gonna say much from them. They expected to do well, but this is one of them games and two of these teams where I'm like, okay, if they make it, if they don't, I'm not really that impressed. All right, the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Nick Foles. I don't know what it is about Nick Foles, but he don't seem to have the best of nothing unless he playing with the Eagles. The man fractured his something glow. I don't even the clavicle. He fractured it, broke it, something, and he might not be able to come back to week 11. Man, I feel lightweight bad for the Jags, and I feel lightweight bad for them uniforms they had on the other day too. Poo. But then on the other side of that, I mean, Mahomes. My gosh, you talking about weapons? I mean, it's setting up to be a showdown between the Chiefs and the Patriots in the AFC Championship. If all early indications, point that way, so to speak. Brother Rich, what'd you say about the Chiefs and the Jaguars?
Well, in the beginning of the year, I told you again, the Chiefs are not to be played with. And so I certainly did not anticipate it was going to come out blazing like that, but they came out doing – they definitely are who we think they are. They definitely are.
I can agree with that. Double J, what about you?
Yeah, well, I think we're focusing on the wrong side. In all fairness, no disrespect to Nick Foles, it is super disappointing that happened. But we need to look on the opposite side of the ball here, and Mahomes is doing it again. It was keep in mind Tyreek Hill exited that game early, and this man still put up those numbers, and we're going to need this inserted in there too with that new equipment of yours. Mama, there goes that man again. Patrick Mahomes is proving he is a beast.
Yeah, it's looking like that. And then he fits. I'm not big on that whole system thing, but it's just like the perfect marriage between him and what Andy Reid like to do. The question for them though still is, Andy Reid coach team, can they win it when they supposed to win it? It's getting down to the point now where the regular season is just an afterthought when it comes to them guys, as is the case with the Patriots to some degree. Can he win it when they need to win it? Gully, what say you?
Well, again, like Double J say, the Chiefs as a whole, the Chiefs are proving it's not a fluke. In particular, Mahomes. It wasn't one lights out year. It wasn't just 1 year of last year wasn't just an anomaly. It proves that, like Russell Wilson in his first year where he sort of took teams by surprise. The next year he went and backed it up. This is proving this to be the same thing. So I'm expecting to see more of them being successful for the rest of the year. And I think that this year, now more than any, is a year where Andy Reid can finally exercise that demon of not being able to win a big one or win the games, win late, because I think the Chiefs are legit. They're for real, and I think they're the team to beat.
Not going to be the case if they don't tighten up the screws on that defense. All right, Ravens at Dolphins. Brother Rich, are you impressed with the Ravens? It's a lot of folks that's in the Lamar Jackson camp. Boy, they really thumbing their noses at people right now.
You put me, I must credit where it is due. You put me up on the Ravens several years ago in terms of their corporate structure, their team building philosophy,
how they approach the game on the field, certainly their camaraderie. So I thought that they were plug and play. And when they got such an athletic quarterback and they got the system that they have and the nature of the town and they play to that town and that environment, I think that they're for real, absolutely for real.
Okay, hold that thought. Double J, did you hear that? I got credit for something. I know you don't like hearing that, but I just thought I'd, say it again. Yeah, I'm with you, Brother Rich. The Ravens.
Everybody's name goes on the platinum record. I understand.
Yeah,
and the
darn Skippy
for doing that as a Cowboys fan. Okay.
Ooh, boy, y'all coming with y'all. Got y'all knives out today. Well, guess what? I'm like Bruce Lee. Boards don't hit back. Anywho, yeah, my question surrounding Lamar Jackson was the passing. Okay? Reading the defenses and things of that nature. No discredit to him for doing that. I'm saying that for any young quarterback, because didn't we mention when we did the divisional breakdowns that last year only had like 1,200 yards passing? Well, he seems well on his way to way more than that this year. Or was it the case that the Dolphins are just that bad, Gully?
No. We as bad as the Dolphins are, I think Lamar Jackson showed how bad the Dolphins were. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
For example, if the Patriots had played the Dolphins yesterday, it would have been the same result, and we would have seen it's not because the Dolphins are just that bad, it's because Brady's just that good. Same goes for Baltimore and what we've seen yesterday.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Double J, we're going to come back to you again.
Well, look, here's the thing. As much as I would love to crown Lamar Jackson, he is an option quarterback. He has a great rapport. I listened to him, I want to say about 2 weeks into the preseason, and he flat out told everyone about the relationship he has with his receivers, which I think is pivotal. And it was on full display. But you're talking about an option-based quarterback with a cannon arm, and with that being said, you're talking about he went up against a very undisciplined defense, which is going to lose contain on the run, and then more so going to lose someone within the secondary. And Hollywood Brown, well, the lights were shining the brightest for them both down there in South Florida.
Yeah, and we'll stay with you on this next one. Falcons at Vikings. Were you impressed? Thoroughly impressed?
I was.
Really?
I was thoroughly impressed.
Oh, stop
why.
it.
I've never seen a team dismantle another with having a quarterback throw under 125, get 100 under 125 yards.
All right, I'll buy that.
Kirk Cousins did not have to throw the ball at all. So for those in the fantasy world that had
Kirk Cousins,
hopefully you had Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, right.
Or because unless because Thielen is the only one who had one touchdown catch, and that was early in the first quarter. So after that, it was the Dalvin Cook show, which only proves my point that when it comes to Minnesota, their defense is incredible. Because look, Julio Jones played that game. You would have thought he didn't, but he was in that game.
Oh, you mean the Julio?
Atlanta really doesn't have any excuses here.
You mean the Julio that you and Brother Rich think was better than DeAndre Hopkins? Continue. Oh, you too, Gully.
Well,
yeah, you too. Go ahead, Double J. Finish your thought.
So, again, with my point here, that Atlanta has to do a lot of soul searching because they're faced with a very similar crises as the Kansas City Chiefs on that defensive side of the ball. They just can't seem to get it right. And I think offensively things will come together. But defensively, if they don't, they're going to find themselves in a very curious position in the division next to potentially Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm. Brother Rich, are you impressed with the Falcons or the Vikings?
In that battle, I have to take the Vikings.
Yeah. I think Dalvin Cook is something special.
I have to take the Vikings.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook
because I think the Falcons have they blew their shot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
that they had their run,
and they blew it.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is trash. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Gully. You got that. You got the. It's your turn. Let's just say it that way. It's your turn.
Nothing more to say. The Vikings did what they're supposed to do. For the Falcons, I think the tragedy, if you will, is the fact that they should be, with Matt Ryan, as potent as he's been over the years, you expect them to be better, but more consistently you're getting the same thing from that team. And I think that's the unfortunate part is just basically year after year, that team, the Falcons, prove themselves to be, if you want to make a statement about the team at the end of the season, it's like, you're better than this. But they don't seem to be. But again, Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are.
Definitely.
So I think it's enough of us thinking that the Falcons are better than this, given the talent they should be. But let's talk about how the winner won, and not let's say why the loser lost.
Yeah.
The Vikings won because the Vikings are legit. The Vikings are a really good team. The Vikings will make some noise. I think the Vikings will disrupt maybe some of the even predictions we made on the show about who we expect to see in the end. But that's way too far. That's a long ways away. Just let's take a look at the fact that the Vikings won effectively despite the passing game, if you will.
Yeah, I'll just finish that off with the Falcons. They about 5 minutes away from being like the Browns for the last 25,000 years. The the draft gonna be their Super Bowl. Up next, the Bills at the Jets. I'll say I'm shocked and surprised that with the Le'Veon additions and the Sam Darnolds and all of that other good stuff, it wasn't as much hype surrounding the Jets, not nearly as it was the Browns. But, the expectations were there for them to be able to beat the Bills. And that's a division game, too. And for them to lose, the Jets, that is, to the Bills, the way they lost, Double J, you more impressed with the Bills or surprised at the Jets?
I would say thoroughly disappointed in the Jets. The Bills, I don't think anybody's really expecting much of anything. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. The team itself found a way to win, which, again, given the talent on that roster, is quite a surprise. I think it's only going to be maybe 3 more times that we're talking about them on this side of the win-loss column. But nevertheless, the Jets really have a lot of soul searching to do as well, because they have a quarterback that they see as the future. But again, we talked about lines in consistency, and they were a mess.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Brother Rich, impressed with the Bills or disappointed in the Jets?
Disappointed in the Jets. Absolutely disappointed in the Jets. Metropolitan New York area. A little biased, I must admit. But as well, with all the additions and the potential of the team and Le'Veon having something to prove, disappointed in the Jets.
Yeah, that's kind of seemed to be the general consensus. Gully, what say you?
Yeah, the turnovers told the tale. 4 turnovers you force in the first half, you should definitely be able to win that game, sustain it, because that means you were disrupting the offense. You were disrupting your opposition's offense. And to not capitalize on that, like you said, with the talent that you have with the Le'Veon Bills, it's one that lick your wounds, you know what I mean? Like we said before, though, right? It's only one game. However, you want to look at why you lost, and I think this one is one worth paying attention to. You don't want to have too many more games like this, because when it gets later in the season, you think about the single possession games. Every single possession game you lose is one that you'll always be haunted with the feeling that we could have won that one. We could have won that one. It'd be better to be blown out or win than to lose close, because it'll haunt you and you make you second guess yourself.
Yeah.
So the Jets need to get that, correct that. It's early enough now, and I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, and speaking of the Jets, let me just remind everybody that they do play the Browns on Monday night in New York. And if I'm a Jets player, I'm like, y'all remember what they did to us last year, right? Okay, that's where the hype kind of lightweight started. Yeah, hold my beer. Yeah. Gully, we can stay with you on the next one. Washington and the Eagles. Now, Washington had an early lead in that game. It was pretty sizable. And then Carson Wentz happened. Oh, and did I forget to mention Deshaun Jackson looking like he just came in the league 2 weeks ago? What's up with that?
What's old is new again. This is great for Carson Wentz and the Eagles. He needed games like this, right? Because of now the elephant is no longer in the room. He has full control. I guess he has more control over his destiny than before. When you had a quarterback like Nick Foles, given how successful the team remained during this injury absence through the years. So it was great for the Eagles. It was great for them. So I think this is it's a step in the right direction. So
yeah,
I like what I said. I think it was legit.
All right. Double J, what about you? Weigh in on that Eagles in Washington.
Well, I think Washington has something there. You look at that rookie from where was he from? The Ohio State University.
Oh my goodness! My gosh! Is that a Big Ten plug?
Oh man, no, you stop it, Jay. Because if he was from the U, it'd have been, how about the U, baby?
Yeah,
even though they lost.
Yeah.
So stop
oh wow,
it. So
really?
Give the Ohio State University players some credit.
Really? I do all the time. Chris Carter. Sean Springs. Do I need to keep on going and going and on and on and going? D-back you, Mel Tucker from Glenville.
I'm talking about to your memories. I'm not referring to your memories that are now in black and white because you can't see memories in color anymore. I'm talking about players now in the league now.
Whoa, said from the mouth of a guy who wears shoes on the wrong feet. But anywho, at the end of the day, you got to understand, I press play over here. I'm a Hurricane fan, despite 0-2. Okay, and we will mention the Hurricanes on this show. It's not about the Buckeyes and their players in particular. It's about the Buckeyes as a whole, their football team. Can't stand them. Next, Brother Rich, what say you?
Well, if you're going to say the Buckeyes,
No, we're talking about Washington and the Eagles.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the Washington team, I don't say their name.
Of course not.
Team, is disappointing for a whole host of reasons, not the least of which they put on the field. But the Eagles are potential champions again, and they're just disappointing in terms of how they're getting out the game.
Okay, I tell you this. They're not going to beat the Cowboys. Don't say nothing. We'll talk about that next time. Double J, do you want to have the last say off on this or whatever so we can keep moving? We got to keep this thing moving, man. My gosh, you all in y'all's fandom. Terrible. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay.
Well, ultimately here.
You already had your say. I was giving you another shot. But if you want to, you got 32 seconds. No?
Basically, Philly is going to be a good team this year, in someone in this group coined the toughest division in football. So we'll see how they.
I did not coin. You know what? You and Brother Rich, y'all gonna stop misconstruing of my words. I did not say that the NFC East was the toughest. I asked the question: is it the toughest? Stop trying to put. You know what, man? I hope y'all hit an orange barrel. Anyway, Gully, this is on you. Colts at the Chargers. Now, here's my question. We all know the Chargers' track record, right? They either start off fast and fade late or start off slow and pick up fast later on. They beat the Colts in a ho-hum affair, so to speak, but the way it went down, man, I don't know if I'm penciling that. They might make the playoffs. I don't know. They in the AFC West. I don't know if the Raiders do what I think the Raiders going to do, and despite all the Antonio Brown mess, if you would. The Chargers might be on the outside looking in when this is all said and done. You know what I mean? And the Colts might actually be a little bit better. Would have been really better had Andrew Luck stayed, but he didn't. Than what most folks think they are. So what say you about it all now?
It's a peculiar one for sure. It's hard to make this one because I think both of the teams. I think this is a game where it was. I wouldn't know how to call it. I mean, but it was very peculiar. You know what I mean? To your point about the Chargers, like you say, to your point, they start fast and fade, or they start slow. I would say, this is they snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, but they got to do better. You know what I mean? They've got to do better. I think they should look at this one like a loss and really, really shore up some things, because this is a good year for them. Maybe not winning the division, but certainly in the wild card. Their window is closing, but not closed yet. But you're not gonna get lucky with teams like this playing. Even 2 or 3 weeks down the road on their schedule. You're not gonna luck up on a win like this. So I think they really need to tighten it up, and they can, and at least they want to know going into week 2, despite how they played.
Yeah, Brother Rich, are the Colts better than what we thought, or are the Chargers just not gonna be as good and be typical later on down the line?
The Chargers are not going to be as good. The Chargers are not what happened.
Okay, Double J, go ahead. How you say? I like how you wrap that up real quick, Brother Rich. Thank you, so we can, keep things moving. Go ahead, Double J. What you say?
Well, I think the winner in all of this, despite the Chargers getting the W in overtime, is actually Jacoby Brissett. He proved that he's not only a team favorite, but also that he's the real deal. And, he hooked up with Doyle and Ebron, and Marlon Mack was running, he was getting 5 yards before contact. The line, despite what led to Andrew Luck's, disappearance, if you will, in the retirement, it appears through week 1 to look pretty solid. And then from the Chargers side, rather, their secondary is still troublesome for them, and however the Colts let the Chargers run all over the place on that.
Yeah, I know. I saw that as well. And Brother Rich, we'll go to you on the next one.
And
go ahead, finish.
I was just going to point out that the biggest loser in all of this actually would have been the gentleman from the running back holding out, Melvin Gordon, for the Chargers. Because what you saw from Eckler and company did not say I need to make any drastic changes if I'm in the front office to bring that man back.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that. Brother Rich, we're going to go to the next one. This next one is on you. The Bengals at the Seahawks. Do we even need to talk about the Bengals and the Seahawks? I mean, what much can you say about either? I mean, Russell Wilson was Russell Wilson, but what'd you say? Next, yeah. Double J.
I said next. Yeah. You said what else you need to say about
next? Yeah. Double J, what do you got anything you want to say about the Bengals or the Seahawks?
Yeah, I just want to point out that DK Metcalf, he runs routes like a brick wall or something from Easter Island, but that man can catch the ball. So be on the lookout for him, especially fantasy football players out there listening.
Yeah, we did actually discuss DK Metcalf and relation to Eric, of course, and Terry. But yeah, the Seahawks, boy, they're gonna have a tough go of it this year, I think, man. They're gonna be missing that Legion of Boom defense, or at least portions and parts of it. Gully, what about you? Anything interesting you want to mention about the Bengals and the Seahawks? No disrespect to Bengals or Seahawks fans who might be out there listening. Oh, and by the way,
Dalton did mighty well yesterday, passing the ball. I think that's maybe it's becoming expected of him, but I think he did mighty well considering. I mean, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. I know in football you have ties, but they can hold again. Like I said earlier, this was a close game. They can hold their head high. You know what I mean? They got some things to work on. I think the Seahawks, are a good team. Of course, I think it's a good barometer of how well you are as a team that you did go into Seattle and almost come out with a victory. They've got a lot to improve, but they're not as far off from being able to meet expectations for having a good season.
Yeah.
So I like what I saw from the Bengals.
Yeah.
Despite the loss.
Equally
for the Seahawks, it was good for them that that they hung on and won it, of course you want to create some distance later in the year from teams that you should otherwise beat. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, Andy Dalton is what Andy Dalton is in the regular season. That's why they couldn't win a playoff game. Up next, of course, we're going to put this one on Double J. The Lions at the Cardinals. Now, the only reason I'm saying we're going to even sit here and discuss this one is because Double J, of course, is a Michigan guy. And with all due respect to the other Michigan gentlemen that did call in the show today, appreciate y'all for calling in. That Lions and Cardinals, Double J, my goodness. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? We've had more ties in the NFL than we've had in the last 2,700 years in the college football. My goodness. Explain that. Explain it, if you can.
Well, that's the Lions. That is, I'm glad it was for everyone to see. Now, I will say that they executed perfectly through three quarters defensively on bottling up Kyler Murray. I'm not going to completely, jump off the hype train of his. He made some good throws. Larry Fitzgerald continues to be a freak of nature and defy, you say Father Time's undefeated. Well, that man is taking him into overtime because he continues to do it at such a high level. It's awe-inspiring.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that. You said Fitzgerald just going toe-to-toe with Father Time, huh? Brother Rich, what about you, man? Anything you want to say about the Cardinals and the Lions? Anything good? Anything bad?
What can I add to that? I was going to say, that I can't even comment on that. I didn't watch. They played on Sunday?
Oh, wow. That's cold-blooded, Brother Rich. We got Michigan callers, man. And they down with their squads, man. Don't do them like that. But I'll say this. Y'all keep throwing the Dallas Cowboys all up in my face. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to talk about this off air. You know what I mean? I think we're going to have to, put y'all, I'm going to start hitting the mute button. That's what I'm going to do on you and Double J. I'm a big Matt Stafford fan. I am. I liked him at Georgia. Now, if he's better than Matt Fromm and all of that, I'm not going to get in all of that right now. I would like to see Matt Stafford go to one of these teams. Pick one, whichever one you think is pretty much put together, if you would, got all the other components. I'd like to see Matt Stafford go to one of them teams. I bet you they'd be in the playoffs. Bet you they would, and I'm not a gambler. Bet you they'd be in the playoffs. So pick a team. Any team you think that was way better than the Lions right now. And there's no disrespect to the Lions because I feel your pain of the 0-16. Matt Millen, I remember all of that. Better linebacker than he was a front office guy. I get all of that. So my shout out to Lions fans and y'all suffering or the suffrages right now that y'all having to endure, except for Double J. I hope he hit a chuck hole in his drop top. But, man, I would love to see Matt Stafford go somewhere else that's got a better squad all in totality. Bet you he'd be in the playoffs. Double J. Yeah, that's what I thought. You agree? You disagree or don't agree? What? Huh? I don't hear nothing.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, crickets.
Absolutely, 110% agree with you.
Do you?
I could say he would put up better numbers on the Cowboys. I would say Tom Coughlin would love him in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think. Yeah, okay. I said pick a team, and that's a nice. Oh, yeah. All right. Gully, you a Matt Stafford fan, a Cardinals fan, a Lions fan, or no? Or none of the above?
I just want to talk about that. Mr. Murray threw 54 passes yesterday, and he needed every bit of those 54 passes to get it done. I don't really respect, or not respect. I don't care if it's a passing league or whatnot. Throwing 55 times, having to do it, even successful or not, I think that's a mark of inconsistency because I don't think it holds up later in the year. Yeah, it was impressive to see that Kyler Murray could do that, and it was impressive to see how good an athlete he is. By having a second half that he had. But if you're relying on a rookie quarterback to do stuff like that, it's going to be bad news when that rookie's not a rookie anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be a long season.
And when the newness wears off.
Yeah, it'll be a long season. I just don't like the idea of – I don't care if you're I guess you would have to be maybe a Tom Brady or John Elway or Marino. It's a few exceptions to the rule, so to speak. I'm just not with a quarterback throwing the ball, or maybe a Drew Brees, but anybody else other than those names and maybe a few others that I failed to mention, I'm not cool with no quarterback throwing the ball 45, 50, something out 42 times, and then the running back that's behind him that's decent enough getting the ball 9 times or 12 times. Now, that is, when you want to talk about coaching, that's horrendous. That's another word of mine, or term, if you would. It's unbelievable, man. I don't understand how teams put themselves in a corner by no balance. You don't have no balance. Even if you do the attempt at running or whatever, or having balance, the percentages say to work out in your favor down the line, and they would. It's just no balance. I just don't understand that, man. No balance whatsoever. All right, Brother Rich.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Because if you look at that Lions game, in 5 quarters, they ran the ball 30 times. So you tell me.
I don't. Your point, Double J. You trying to one up me again? Is that what you're trying to do? That what we're here doing?
No. Well, you're asking why. How can you blow a lead and all of those other things? Why did the Lions look like the Lions? Well, you ran the ball essentially 5 times a quarter, which is absolutely atrocious.
As is. I know. I was just being facetious right there. I wanted you to add to that, of course, or add clarity, I should say. Yes. Come on now. No balance. No balance whatsoever. Brother Rich, this one is on you. The Giants at the Cowboys. Are the Giants terrible?
The Giants are terrible. I mean,
but the Cowboys.
What do we need to see to know that Eli Manning is done? Come on now.
Are you kidding?
Eli Manning is done.
So is it time for
Eli Manning is cooked.
Is it time for another one of Barbershop J's
cooked.
selections? Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones, maybe? No.
Yeah, you did select him. That's correct. You called it.
I said, I mean, I'm saying, I'm just
so your
saying.
team. Long story short, your team won. Long story short, if you're looking for your team won.
No,
That's
it's
right.
not my team
won.
did not win. My team got blowed out, 43 to nothing. Well, it felt like nothing. 13 points, 43 might as well be nothing. Anyway, no, the Cowboys again are not my team. Oh, and right quick, if you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout. That number to call is area code 267-687-0026. The number again, area code 267-687-0026. Are the Cowboys, they are who we thought they were after just one game, quote unquote, Double J?
Well, I don't believe so. I believe they went up against an atrocious secondary, an atrocious defense as a whole, and an even worse offense, minus Saquon Barkley.
You know what? I notice now with you and Brother Rich, y'all don't give credit to where credit is due when it comes to me, unless it's you. Did you see how I said that? But it's cool. I see what we're working with now. Gully, don't you say a word. Don't say a word, because I do got my finger on the mute button.
A word. See, I defy expectations. A word.
Okay. So what say you about the Giants and the Cowboys then? Are the Cowboys legit now that they signed my man Zeke?
Well, you mentioned several times about how, and I think it came up in the contract and the discussions, but I'd like to give you credit. Don't throw a parade, but I'd like to give you credit for saying that, being the first to allude to the fact that when the Cowboys were struggling, they had issues with paying Emmitt Smith the money that they wanted, that he was requesting to come back. And the Cowboys struggled. As soon as he got his money, and as soon as they struggled enough and they gave him his money, he came back and they went on to the Super Bowl. Even before, though we didn't get into the regular season with Zeke's contract issue, there were concerns about the overall fabric of the team because of that issue. And now that he got it right, what happened, to bring it back to what we saw yesterday, a team won and they beat a team the way that they were supposed to. 35-17, that's the way it's supposed to if they're as good as they say they were. If the Giants are struggling or whatnot, the Giants ain't quite where we expect them to be, or they may be exactly as bad as we think. They lost as bad as we think they are. You get what I mean? So I'd say I'm not surprised. This is expected, and I only expect to see more consistency from the Cowboys now that the players that want the money and the players that are talented enough to get the money have gotten paid.
And I'll finish that up before we go to the next one, saying It's not that I'm a fan of the Cowboys, people. Really, it's not that. I'm just a fan of good football.
Jay?
And at the end of the day, the Cowboys played with something that we've been talking about for the longest. Balance. They look balanced. Balanced with my man Zeke. Back there. Now, would Dak get his money?
Yes,
that's another question for another day. But they play with a balance. And don't make no mistake about it. That defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense from front to back. Now, who going to argue with that? Get at me, as they would say on Facebook. Get at me. That's what I thought. Moving on. 49ers at the Bucks. Do we even need to talk about this one? I mean, really? Who was surprised? Jameis is 3 seconds away from being labeled a bust, unfortunately. And his pregame ritual.
I thought that's already happened.
Brother Rich, man, you and Double J, man. I don't know. We're going to have to switch times and dates on because y'all be just getting wild with it on a Tuesday. What's up with that, man?
Look, I was pulling for Jameis Winston. He's a buck. I was pulling for him. He's a buck.
You say you can no longer pull. You say you can't no longer pull that bus, huh?
He's a buck. You got what when a person show you who they are, you got to believe.
You got to believe them. I'm with you on that. Double J, what about you, man?
Well, I'm looking forward to the Jameis Winston Crab Co. But definitely not him as a starting quarterback.
Gully, go ahead. Man, this guy here is a character. Go ahead and finish that off, man. You got anything? I mean, the Bucks, 49ers, is it a big deal, no deal? What is it? No deal? Got you. I'm with you on that, too.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was nothing more to
say. Yeah,
nothing to add.
Okay. Well, I'll start this next one off. For all of you Steelers fans that live in Cleveland who had all this yarn to say after the Browns was taking their L, and then right on the top, y'all lost by 30. Oh, man, you should have heard them all. Y'all lost by 30, bums. And then you know all the talk that goes surrounding that when the team lose. Some people just sit in the wings waiting for the team to take an L so they could that's all they looking for. You know what I mean? And they was out in full force. And then y'all turn around and get beat by 30. Man, the Patriots, the Browns lost. Bad. No question about it. But you could even see in that moment, you could point to the penalties and the yardage and the undisciplined and the whole nine. Those things are correctable. The way the Steelers got beat, man, they need to file for contraction next week. Brother Richard, what say you?
Well, I mean, let's take into consideration who they played now. I mean, and again, if were it not for a whole host of reasons, I would say of the Steelers, couldn't happen to a nicer team.
Yeah, no question they was playing the vaunted Patriots who, after the moves they done made here recently, might as well just pencil them in as the AFC rep in the Super Bowl this year. But they're still supposed to be the Steelers, right? The terrible towel, Three Rivers, and all the Heinz Field, all the ketchup and all that stuff. This is the Steeler way. What happened? Steeler way seemed to go that way. What happened that day, Double J?
Well, I mean, nothing went well for them. They looked like
really. That's all you gonna. That's all you gonna sum it up as. Really, nothing went well for them today. You and Brother Rich, give me the business.
How about this? We witnessed greatness from Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They go out and they said, "Look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna shut down Juju Smith-Schuster." Limited him in a PPR league to 13 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to get Antonio Brown.
And as you saw. That's right. No Antonio Brown, which means they're very one-dimensional. I think James Conner, unfortunately, is average. And Ben Roethlisberger has had dead arm for about the last 4 years and was bailed out by Antonio Brown.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
So,
hold that thought.
Here we are.
Hold that thought. Let's go back to the James Conner thing right quick. I think somebody on this program said something to the effect that he's nice And that offensive line is that offensive line, but it's a reason why you need a Le'Veon Bell. I digressionize. Continue.
Well, again, this team looks like they're in disarray.
Yeah,
and the Patriots look like Patriots. I think they're a team that, as crazy as this may seem, and as great as they look, they're actually going to get better. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to speak it into existence now. Rob Gronkowski may return following their bye week.
We all saw that coming, Double J. You don't get the Swami hat on that one. Sorry. But I get it. I see him coming back, too. I think he just needed a break, as do most NFL players. And speaking of which, condolences. I can't think of the young man's name, but I just saw the story probably about 5 minutes before we went on the air. The young Raiders linebacker, I believe, who died from a brain aneurysm. Am I correct in that, Double J or D Gully? Yeah. So, this whole idea about should they get paid and what they worth, that's an example. May he rest in peace. That's an example of why. I know it. They signed up for it, Pee Wee and all of that. I get it, all of that and all of that. But we're talking about right now, okay, and I don't know what you can do to make the game safer and all of that. That's another discussion for another day. But, yeah, pay the man, Shirley. Steven, or whoever it is signing the checks. And I say Steven as in, what's Jerry Jones' son's name? Yeah, got me. Got you. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, man, them Steelers, man, what goes up must come down. And the Patriots are the Patriots. The Patriots made the Steelers look like what Clemson did to Alabama. I know some Alabama fans out there salty at me right now, but it ain't no disrespect to Bama. I like Bama. I'm just saying what it looked like. And that ain't supposed to happen is all I'm saying. Not the Steelers way. That ain't supposed to happen. And I got some friends that Steelers fans. I'm just saying. They true fans. I ain't speaking to y'all. I'm talking about them ones, who always got to throw it up in your face, that type of stuff. Now y'all got to sit next to us and be what? Quiet. Gully, what say you on that?
Listen, it's the Patriots. It's the defending Super Bowl champs. It's the team of the decade. It's the best team, period. Not period, but it's the best team of the decade for sure, right? They did what you expect them to do, right?
Yeah.
Again, for the Steelers, I think it's sobering because has much drama has surrounded that team. Two of your key teammates, two of your key players left, whereby those two guys, if content in Pittsburgh, made Pittsburgh a legitimate contender. They decided to leave. Why did they leave? I don't know, but the guys that remain are not enough to be the best team in the conference or the best team in the division. So basically, you can call Le'Veon and AB, you can call them crybabies, prima donnas, or what have you. They had legitimate concerns about what else was going on in that organization, and they're gone. So you can't blame their antics. You can't blame their antics on the disarray with the Steelers. Now it's the guys that want to remain there. I forgot how did Mike Tomlin put it. They had a clearinghouse. So who else to blame if the guys that are distractions are not here and you're still performing this poorly?
Yeah,
I look for the Patriots to continue doing what they're doing, and Steelers got some gut check. It's definitely gut check time.
So then let me ask everybody on the panel this then. Yes or no? Yes or no answers only, please. Hypothetically, AB, Le'Veon, still with the Steelers, and they going against the Patriots. Is it still a Patriots win as decisively, or is it a different outcome, Brother Rich?
No. Different outcome.
Double J?
A different outcome.
Gully?
I'm going to go with or because you said yes or no answers only. I'm going to go with or.
This guy here. This is what I mean by, this is a good reason. This is why when we were kids, I tied your shoelaces together on both shoes. This is why. That right there. Anyway, last on the docket for this first week of NFL games, the Monday Nighter, Texans and the Saints. It lived up to the billing. And guess what, man? The Saints got cheated lightweight again. The refs made a bad call, man. What is it about them folks them dudes down in New Orleans? Don't the NFL and the refs like, man? I thought they liked Sean Payton and Drew Brees and all of that, man. So why they keep shafting them lightweight? And I wish the Browns had the Saints field goal kicker, even though it was kicking indoors. Oh, and then lastly, Brother Rich, because we're going to go to you. But before I go to you, I just want to mention that what I thought was the game-winning drive, that pass, what Deshaun Watson did. And remember, when we talked about the AFC South, it reared its ugly head again. How many times was Deshaun Jackson in that game beat up, man? His offensive line is terrible. I don't understand how your biggest asset as an NFL franchise, before I build the defensive line, before I get a cornerback, before I get anything, I'm doing what I got to do to make sure my biggest asset is protected. How in the world did the Texans, how they get away with that, Brother Rich? How they get away with that offensive line being that bad? That was a hell of a throw. Excuse my French fries. That was a hell of a throw. That was a hell of a drive to take the lead from Texas.
When have they been good? Isn't that the concern we have for their young quarterback, that they'll injure him before he gets a chance to show us all that's in his bag of tricks?
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for the dude, because the dude he's legit. Man, Deshaun Watson is legit. You know, Double J, and you know me and you off air, we always kind of go back and forth a little bit about, the hindsight thing. Just can you imagine if they did the draft over again, which team would have took? Who wouldn't have took Deshaun Watson? Double J.
Well, first of all, I think every team in this league would have taken him.
Yeah, the Browns, of course, passed on him. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, to your point, this guy was in the medical tent twice during that game. The fear is that by this time next year, what we're hearing is that he played, throughout the season with kidney damage, for all we know.
Yeah.
But now I will say, despite the Andrew Luck stuff, Houston went out and traded it in a very lopsided way, 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, he looked bad, too. Yeah, he looked bad.
He sure did.
Yeah, Tunsil didn't look good.
So, the combination of, Hyde and your boy Duke Johnson, additionally with, you can't deny that Hopkins is a freak of nature. And, so they're a great team. But, again, only if they can keep him on the field.
And you know what, too, before you weigh in, Gully? Hopkins dropped, like, the first couple of passes, which I was like, what? That ain't D-Hop. But did you see his attitude? That's what I mean by as a player, man. Your attitude makes all the difference in the world in the execution and the outcome and the all the things going in your favor. His attitude towards the football after he had them drops, man. Could you not tell the difference? Man, him and Watson was linking up, man. I don't dislike the Saints. I just wish the Texans had to pull that off, man. Wish that defense and Drew Brees did what Drew Brees do. That's why I don't believe in that whole, how tall or how small a guy got to be to play, because Drew Brees is what? Drew Brees ain't no taller than you, Brother Rich. And Brother Rich, you what? 6'1"?
That's correct.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, Drew Brees got to what? Get on the step stool to look up to look you in the eye, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. But yet and still, with however many seconds he shouldn't have had, he had, and he went right down the field and got them in position. So, I mean, that was the better played game of the first week for me. I'm just saying. I couldn't move from my seat, man. It seemed like 1 minute the Saints was up, and the next minute the Texans was up. Despite all that, and despite however many times Deshaun Watson kept getting up off his back, that throw to, who was the wide receiver, Double J, that caught the touchdown pass? that I thought was the game winner. What's his name? Was that Will Fuller?
Will Fuller, yeah.
Okay. If you go back and look at as Watson was releasing that pass, did you see how he got folded like a piece of lawn furniture? He got smashed. And they will show the replay on that ball, man. That's why I say timing is everything, too, because he released the ball at the right time and in the right moment for that guy to catch that ball, man. The right time and the right moment. Hey, I'm just saying, man, at the end of the day, that was the best played game of this week, man. That was the best played game of this week to me. D. Gully, go ahead, weigh in right quick.
Well, like you guys were saying, it's going to happen again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a mobile quarterback. You're going to rely on his legs. He's not going to be mobile. So he's going to have to change his style of play, and he's not going to be the same, right? He's still betting heavy. You're being very, very bullish on his athletic ability is what's happening right now. Being very bullish on his athletic ability. And right now it's exciting. It's fun. It's Michael Vick. It's Cam Newton. It's Russell Wilson all over again.
Yeah.
Okay? And then the injury's going to come.
Yeah.
Based on the forecast, right?
Hold that
Get
thought.
it under control now, so that way you have this guy, you have the guy being the best that he can with the best tool that he needs, and that's right now the best tool that remains a solid offensive line. Get on one accord with those guys, so that way you can keep them healthy, and then he'd be the X factor, the dark horse in the AFC that we're not counting on. You know, we like Mahomes, we like Brady and whatnot. The Texans are rightfully so. The Texans are another team that can be there. Let them get healthy. Let them play smart. Get that offensive line under control, because you can see.
Hold that thought.
On my ride now.
Hold that thought. We got Dr. Wilkinson. Dr. Wilkinson's on the line. Sorry, and thank you for being patient. Dr. Wilkinson, where are you calling us from?
You good? I'm calling from Canton.
Oh, wow. Okay, down from the Hall of Fame. Okay, all right. Did you watch my man Ed Reed go in the Hall of Fame? Did you watch his induction?
Yeah, he wants one thing I noticed about him is he wanted the games to come back. I mean, the basketball to come back to Seattle.
Really? Not he said that in his. Why did I miss that? Man, I be missing a lot lately. Yeah, I can hear your.
Well, I just looked it up online because I didn't really see the whole speech either, but they were saying that he wants basketball to come back to Seattle.
Okay, got you. I'm hearing a little bit of your background noise too. If you could, just maybe turn it down for me a little bit.
Hold on 1 second.
I appreciate.
Hold on 1 second.
Yep, appreciate you. All the way from Canton, Ohio, man. I'm impressed by that. There you go. So far.
Canton, Michigan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Canton, Michigan. Okay, go. Oh, that's why I said my bad. That's my fault for being presumptuous, thinking it was a Hall of Fame city. It's all good. I didn't know they had a Canton in Michigan. You learn something new every day. But go every day. Well, go ahead, man. Say your piece, man. We in the last hour of the program. Go ahead, say your piece, man. Anything about Week 1 in the NFL.
I just got off work, so I kind of called in late. But I really wanted to talk about Week 1, man, NFL.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, but we still got a little bit of time left. What you want to say here? We were going through the teams. We actually were talking about
Lamar Jackson is all I got to say about Week 1.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you can't knock it. You can't knock what he did.
That man is a beast.
You can't knock what he did. So you're a Ravens fan, somewhat?
No, I'm a Patriots fan, but see me, I've been a Lamar Jackson fan since I started paying attention to him at Jacksonville. So now I'm kind of conflicted. It's like,
okay,
I like Lamar, but I don't want to leave my Patriots. But at the same time, it's like it's Lamar Jackson, man. That's like next Mike Vick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a question or two early on. We mentioned we did a divisional breakdown in the last few shows, and when we got to the AFC North, we talked about him and the 1,200 passing yards he had last year. And I just simply stated, again, I'm a realist. I tell him the truth. At least I try to. You got to do better than that. This is the NFL. You know what I mean? You got to do better than that. But what he did against the Dolphins, I mean, make no mistake about it. You can't. I don't care if you you can't hide from it. You can't run from it. The man, he went out there and he kind of so much so kind of said it after the fact, like like what y'all got to say now? That, you know what I'm saying? That type of deal. And I was like, man, I can't say nothing. I mean, who can say that? You know, after that performance.
Well, last year he didn't really get enough time to prove his stuff. I mean, he came in almost halfway through the season. I mean, he still didn't do that halfway through the season.
Right. No disrespect.
I mean, he lost one regular season game as a starter, and then he lost the playoff game, which is, I mean, he a rookie, so he don't have that playoff experience. Right. I expected that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now that he got that experience, I'm looking for him to be a whole different beast this year when it comes up towards the end of the year, leading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what too, there was a lot of people prior to this season picking them to win the AFC North. And what he did and the Ravens did as a whole yesterday, ain't nothing to tell me that ain't going to be the case. And I'm a Browns fan, but like I said, I'm a realist too. You know what I'll say this too about the Ravens?
I mean, Browns. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I'm a Browns fan.
Cleveland.
Yes, that's where we broadcast from here, man. We broadcast from Cleveland, Ohio.
All
yes,
right,
sir.
Respect.
Yes, I'm a Browns fan. I mean. Hey, I've been a Browns fan since Red Riot '88. I take my lumps though, you know. We got whooped on. We got whooped on real bad. Go ahead.
I'm from Michigan. We beef with everything from Ohio.
Oh. We got a Michigan guy.
We beef with everything from Ohio. Ohio State, regular Ohio. It don't matter. If it's Ohio, we don't like it.
Okay. Hey, listen, and trust me, it's a lot of folks in Ohio that say the same about Michigan. But let me say this to you about me in particular. Ohio, born and bred, Cleveland, raised, the whole nine. But I am not one of them fans. I do not like Ohio State football. Cannot stand it. I repeat, cannot stand it. I am a Miami Hurricane fan, first and foremost. I know we.
The U.
Yes, the U. That's why I said my man Ed Reed. I cannot stand Ohio State football.
Yeah, Ed Reed was one of the best to ever do it.
Yes, he was. Well, you want to repeat that again for some of my panelists here? Because, you know, sometimes they get amnesiac.
I hope y'all listen up. Ed Reed was one of the best to ever do it. No matter where you put him at.
That's right.
He's all over the field.
That's
don't
right.
Matter.
That's right. Oh, well, I got a fan here. I think I do just for a moment.
Did he play for the Cowboys?
That's Brother Rich. He one of my panelists. He actually, I patch him in from California. I actually got one guy from California. That's Brother Rich. And my man Double J, you might know him. You might not know him.
Brother Rich?
Double J, Joey James.
All
He's
good, my friend. All good.
From Michigan. And then my other co-host, every now and again, when he got the time take time from his busy schedule to join us, D Gully. He calls me from Columbus, man. But I am in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Cleveland, Ohio.
My boy Joey, the one who actually hooked me up and told me to call, man. I called once before, but I'm so busy at work. He always texts me like, call in. But by the time I get off, everything is done. I'm like, no, I can't believe I missed it. And I'll be like researching my stats and everything. I'll be having all my stuff ready for y'all, but I never get off work in time.
Oh, man, it's all to the good. I'm sorry about that. I appreciate you calling in, man. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate folks out there saying, hey, suggesting that you call in. You know what I mean? We try to keep things diverse, man. You know what I mean? And try to keep things straight up. We usually, what we were doing before, and I know we live going right here, right now, for some of the folks out there listening, they're like, huh, which direction you getting ready to go now? But I just want to point out.
Right, where's we going?
Yeah, we used to pre-record, and then I would, put it out on the internet, like the following day or so or whatnot. But here lately, per suggestions from some folks that listen, they say, man, why don't you go live a little bit more often? So I said, all right. And then some of my co-hosts, they kind of suggested the same thing. So right now, as it stands, we go live every Tuesday. We try to go live every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And then we on here for maybe about 2 hours, 2.5 hours or whatnot, and that's the way, per my personal schedule, that's the only time I have right now that would fit in what it is that we're doing. But you can, you can chat with us, man. I got the chat line up, and I don't know why. And I keep forgetting the chat thing here, man. But anyway,
put out that chat because I hop in the chat too.
Yeah, definitely. But again, we go live every Tuesday, 6 o'clock till whenever, until I get done listening to my co-host try to gang up on me. You know what I mean? Every week, man. I'm some kind of different team's fan every week. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I'm the one that's.
I got one question for you though.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Antonio Brown to the Patriots. How y'all feeling about that?
Well, we talked about that early on, and we all in agreement that the Patriots just gonna most likely be, in the AFC championship, of course, and then I don't see no reason why they wouldn't be in the Super Bowl again this year. I don't even think we need to talk about the AFC really no more. Yes.
Hey, Barbershop, I do like to say something because you're bringing it up because, everybody who calls in, they keep bringing it up. I tell you something, though, what we should bring up, how about the fact that we got Antonio Brown, we got these quote-unquote basket case prima donna guys, right? They keep coming to the Patriots, and it seems like checking those antics at the door. One thing, or it's a couple of things with that. Maybe people are playing into a character to get there, or maybe it's a case that if you have a stable organization, guys don't choose to act out. So maybe these other teams who can't handle the personalities probably don't have an organization that's built for the guys not to act out. Because when they go to New England, they get things done. Remember, Randy Moss was considered somebody who was hard to work with, or whatever, whatever negative character trait you want to throw at him. You threw at him until he got to New England, had his most productive season as a wideout. Same thing when Chad Ochocinco went there. It didn't work out as well for him, but New England was built enough to take on these characters. I'm saying that maybe if you have a strong enough organization, you don't get these characters. And again, I'm saying that with emphasis because I don't think they're characters at all. But it's the excuse that you like to make for why you're getting rid of a guy who seems to be out of your control. Maybe you don't win enough. Maybe you're not strong enough. Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean,
exactly.
They have a Bill Belichick. Not everybody got a Bill Belichick. If you don't have a Bill Belichick, ain't nobody gonna act right for you. People know when they go to the Patriots, either they're gonna make it deep into the playoffs or they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl. And what is everybody trying to play for now? They want them rings.
Yeah.
And a long time ago, it was a tweet that went out that said that Tom Brady and Antonio Brown was texting back and forth. And Tom Brady told Antonio Brown, if you ever want to win a championship, you know where to go. And it's like, how much of a coincidence is that he ends up in the Patriots? Like, I saw that coming when he went to the Raiders and started causing all that drama. I'm like, I already know where he's going next. The Tom's already told him to come on.
Yeah.
But since the Steelers told Antonio Brown they wouldn't trade him to the Patriots, I feel like he took that route just so he could get what he wanted. It wasn't because, it's my helmet, or, Joe Gruden and all of them ain't doing me right. No, it's because he wanted to go to New England.
And you know what? You bring up a good point, Mr. Wilkinson, because my co-host in California, Brother Rich, he pointed out basically the same thing that you just said, almost the exact same words.
He knew he wanted to go to New England.
Yeah, before we even got on the show. Yeah, Brother Rich, you heard what the man just said, right?
Well, I'm just gonna take a bow. Leave it like that.
Yeah. I'll say this, man. We definitely appreciate the call, man. You can follow us, check us out on Facebook. We on Spreaker.com too as well. So you can go maybe, I don't know if you got iPhone or Android, but you can go to Google Play Store, man. And
Team iPhone.
Yeah, you got Team iPhone. Well, if you got the little podcast app, you hit that app.
We don't hold that against you. It's okay. We don't hold that against you.
This is
okay.
not.
Yeah, I knew you was a Cleveland Brown fan. You Android.
Yeah, this is not a Microsoft debate here, Gully. Yeah, but no, if you hit that little icon app or whatever, and you type in our show, The Shop Report, and you can follow us if you want to. Again, next week when we do this, I will have the chat lines open for all those folks out there who like to chit chat and can't necessarily call in. That's my bad. We appreciate the call, man. Well, again, we got a Facebook fan page. We on Twitter. We on Spotify. We on Google Play. So, and I'm not really a social social head and tech person or whatever. So, however you all go to whatever device, to get on it, just type in The Shop Report and you should find us. Again, we appreciate the call, man. We got to get ready to get out of here. We look forward to hearing from you again, man.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right, it's all good. Appreciate you calling. Lastly, before we get out of here, fellas, Gully, to your point, what you were saying about the Patriot way and things of that nature, I get it, and I mentioned on more than one occasion about this whole thing about Bill Belichick and what he is and what he about and so on. This is not nothing new, okay? We've had Herm on the show, who played under Belichick in 1994 with the Browns. I got books written by Lawrence Taylor, Mark Bavaro, Phil Sims. I can't think of the title. It's been so long since I read it. But in other words, there's few books that have been written, and to a man, everybody that I've talked to or that read about or whatever, when it comes to Bill Belichick, when he was with the Giants and the whole nine, they all say the same thing. Ernie, of course, he even said it when he was GM for the Browns and whatnot. So, and Modell wasn't sure about it, but they said, look, man, you want to hire this guy when they hired him in 91 with the Browns. My point is, I'm not surprised by none of this that Bill Belichick done did and what he's done set the standard and so on and so forth. But I will say this. Belichick is not the only coach that can set a standard. Okay? You don't have to be Bill Belichick to, and again, I'm not saying a guy's a character or not a character. Say, look here. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we ain't going to do. If you ain't on board with that, then you got to be out. Real talk, the Patriots ain't the only team that done won. It's been how many Super Bowls since the NFL's inception? Okay. So I'm sure that because there's been other Super Bowls won by other teams and so on and so forth, Belichick ain't the only coach that done set a standard. Now, they might be the standard right now. I get it, all of that. But, I mean, look, I'm that way.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think that's the key, Barbershop, is that in this era, right now, I don't know of another team aside maybe the Seahawks that could take, again, quote-unquote characters and assemble a cast of characters and be successful. For every other team that has a character, if you will, they don't win, or they find that character becomes a scapegoat for why they lose.
Or
in the Patriots case,
or you
the characters come to the team and they win regardless. The characterization, if you will, does not become an excuse. They win in spite of.
Right. Or in the case of coming from the Marcellus Wileys and the Shannon Sharps and the Jason Whitlocks, a malcontent. I think y'all just mad because y'all ain't in his shoes. But anyway, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
You're
you know
exactly right. Yeah, I agree.
I'm not down with all of that. But anyway, at the end of the day, Belichick is what Belichick is. I don't Lawrence Taylor was a character, for real character, right? And his book, I got it somewhere sitting around me. You all got to see me. I'm a literary mess over here. But LT really, the name of his book is LT something, I'm not going to even try. I don't have it. But just look up the book Lawrence Taylor wrote, okay? And you had to see, man, what he said about Belichick was beyond glowing. You know, even Parcells even said, man, that guy's you could just tell he was going to be something. You know what I mean? His mind, the way his mind worked. You know, but here's the killer part. The thing about Belichick is what he's doing is not a Houston rocket scientist. That's my thing. It's very simple. We've all heard him say it before. Just do your job. How hard is that? People complicate
there's
things.
There's another guy with a long tenure of success that basically sticks to the basics. He, I believe he coaches in San Antonio. What's the Greg Popovich is his name?
Yeah, but I'm a little mad. I'm lightweight mad at Pop about how that whole Kawhi Leonard thing went down. But yes, to your point, yes, he, a guy who done been at it, been in the trenches. I mean, again, we're just talking about simplicity, okay? Not gonna get into all the other side stuff, but simplicity. It's very simple. Do your job. Look, man, what I do, I can't do it anymore. I stopped a long time ago when I was coaching over at the Sportsplex off Euclid. Ask them about the teams and what my team's record is. I'm not going to even pat myself on the back. No, you ask them. It was very simple. And I'm not saying I'm no Belichick or no Parcells or no Popovich or no nothing like that. But at the end of the day, it's a formula. It's a recipe. It's a formula for success. Look, man, I'm going to show you when it comes to basketball anyway, or any sport, I guess. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? And if you're the subject or the kid that I'm coaching, we're going to sit down. The first thing we used to sit down and watch film. And what I showed them kids was how to watch film. Okay, put yourself in this situation because sports in general, basketball, football, is about situations. And what you do in this, how you react in the situations. That's why I can't believe this Devin Booker or whatever it is talking about, man, we ain't doubling here in practice. No, I want to give me all the situations that I'm going to encounter when the real action start going. That way I ain't surprised by nothing. What did Jordan say? When you talk about that one thing about Jordan, I'll give you one. What did he say about practice? I went hard in the practice. So I went in games. It wasn't nothing new. I said, look, man, to the kids, here's how we going to do this. Once we got done watching the film, we went to the court. Now we're going to take what we saw and we're going to, the application of. Okay, so now when we seen this guy, and I would have the kids out there and we would actually go through the step. This guy was over here, remember? Yeah, this guy was, okay, so now let's run it. In slow motion, we're going to walk through. Okay, so then now why would you go this way instead of that way? I asked the kid the question. Well, because, okay, but then you think, okay, so then let's do it, and it don't work? Oh, okay, see, just do your, I simplify it for you. Now, I had to stop coaching because it was some of the parents who thought that because their kid had on a jersey, they was going to be, Vince Carter or something. I don't even use Mike. Vince Carter, you know what I mean? Oh, he NBA. No, he's not. He got his shoes on backwards. But anyway, I digressionize. Fellas, as always, it was a good one. I hope you all are still with me. Sound like some folks over there taking a nap.
Absolutely.
Oh, Brother Rich, I know you was with me. Double J, you got your pajamas with the feet in them on?
Not quite yet.
Oh, you're getting there, huh?
We
I got you. Yeah.
The encore.
I got you. It's a little Moscato tonight, huh?
Uncle Luke performed.
Got you. Gully, you good over there? You got your pajamas on too? Okay. From the silence, I'm going to take that as a yes. Fellas, as always, a good one. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network, as I like to call it. You can go to the search box and type in the Shop Report. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, and, of course, via email, the Shop Report 365@gmail.com. We're also on Spotify. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook fan page. We got a website that's still under construction, theshopreport.com. But you can go to our Facebook fan page, and you can see all the links that we had there if you want to follow us. Leave comments, questions, topics, suggestions, anything of that nature. And I keep saying iTunes, but it's Google Play now. Right? Is it Google Play? Yeah, Google Play. And if that don't work, you can Google it for my guest, Brother Rich from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, my man Double J up north, and D Gully. And for all those who follow us on social media, we say thank you for your support. I'm Barbershop J, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla!